I have got an ad starting, so hopefully.
Yep, I got feed on YouTube. Good evening, everyone. Forgive us for the late intro. We are live here at Kyalami for the fourth round of the Simrigs Sprint Series here, Octane Online Racing for Split Yellow and then Split Green later tonight. A full wet race here in the heart of South Africa. I am Cameron Fizzlesway, joined with Blake Griffiths and also got Glenn Germain on the cameras as well. Blake, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing yourself, Cameron?
Nah, I'm very well. I'm very well. Obviously, a lot warmer and drier than the drivers are there on the track, as we do have qualifying underway right now. It was 12 minutes altogether, but we got 7 minutes left on the clock. Headed up by Luke Johnson and Matt Lamb so far. I can imagine we'll see some very quick times, especially from the driver that we're on board with right now, Matthew Lamb.
Yeah, indeed. And as more cars go through, as per wet tracks, the track will get a little bit drier as the cars move the rain off the line. We should see constant improvement, really. Oh, that'll do it to you, cheater. That one got me in my race on Tuesday. Um, it's really nasty when you kiss that curb. Matthew Lamb had to go around again. Might even have to go all the way around again because exit and like speed into the pit straight is a bit compromised there. So we jump back on board with Luke Johnson, who's currently got the fastest time right now with a 146.8 and just a smidge down as we are heading through. Where are we? Clubhouse. My track map is
Ingwe,
opposite
last
right now.
corner.
No, last corner. Ingwe. Apologies. But it's not going to be any better for Luke Johnson. So we're going to have to go again. So, Cam, I had to ask, what's your thoughts on this track? Because I was down in the metaphysical pit lane earlier today. And by earlier today, I mean this week. And by metaphysical pit lane, I mean in the chat on the Discord. And it's very spirited debate about the track and what people thought about it. So where do you stand on Kyalami?
I really like Kyalami. I think I've probably raced it a bit too much. I think for a lot of people, Kyalami was a completely new track once when they played this game. It's not a very heavily featured track in most other games. And it was great to get it back in the old Intercontinental GT pack many moons ago, along with Bathurst, Laguna Seca, and of course the one that I'm forgetting right now, to say the least. But yeah, it's and Suzuka, of course, Suzuka, classic Suzuka. I really like Kailami. It is a very tricky track, a very technical track. I would argue, as much as I like it, I don't find it's the best for racing. I find it can be a little bit processional. Um, yeah, it kind of relies on people making a mistake to really get an overtake going, and yeah, but that said, that I'm a big fan of it personally. It's definitely hard to judge as well in terms of how even it is. It's a track that's always played with very kind of nimble cars. Or granted, well, to be honest, cars that were in general quite OP back with the old Porsche and the old Audi back in the day. The esports series were pretty much just those two cars with the odd Bentley and the Mercedes, if I recall. But yes, it's a very good track. In the wet, I like it just as much, to be honest. So nothing but two thumbs up from me.
Yeah, actually, uh, I found myself having quite a bit of fun driving it for the first time this week. I do think it was interesting, as you said, and I did find uh, even in academy, it was pretty easy to defend, even with subpar pace. Those I found most of the opportunities for overtaking were happening in the big braking areas, like this one. Um, and I don't know how to say that. Leocop turn 10.
Yep, look up.
Um, and the crocodiles turn 13. So in those slower sections, but it wasn't too hard to get yourself planted on that inside line. Pardon me, and but maintain good pace still. So I do see what you're saying about it being a little bit of a procession, but I thought it was an interesting track. It presented some challenges. It was good racing, tricky in the wet as well. As we are going back and forth a little bit here, Luke Johnson snatched away P1 right now with two. Oh, forget it. It was like 2/1000th of a second, and Matthew Lamb has just gone ever so slightly faster. Well, 2/10 of a second faster, so a bit of a gap now.
Yep, indeed. I was going to say, I think everyone pretty much had their money on Matt Lamb heading up this one. He's proven very quick, but he's also, to be, he's in the Porsche, he's in the car that he likes, and the Porsche has always been quite strong here, both in its old format, the old 9912, and this 992 generation as well. It still goes pretty strong here. A lot of corners that require a decent amount of rotation and good braking, entry into braking as well as exits. And generally, a lot of those cars are pretty good around this track. But that said, we have seen certain cars like the one on track, obviously the Ford, general all-round quite strong car, as well as also cars like the Aston Martin as well, the Bentley, anything that can get its power down pretty well. And there are enough straights here where the cars with the generally on the favored side for the straight lines can do well here, can generate their lap time in their own particular way. We've obviously seen McLaren's been quite strong here in the past as well, to a degree, maybe not as strong as maybe people would like to say, but anything with long sweeping corners, particularly in this part of the track right now, the McLaren is very good. But yeah, I find it's a track that doesn't necessarily hinder too many cars. I feel like it's one of the more balanced ones, and I'm sure I'm probably gonna receive the tuts and the disagreements from all the esports drivers out there who know better.
Oh yeah, as I said, it's a bit of a controversial track, so no matter what stance you're taking, I think someone's going to disagree with you a little bit here. But as I mentioned earlier, track is gripping up a little bit, even though it's quite wet up there, and we're seeing improved times from everyone. We're all going a little bit faster each and every lap, bar any mistakes happening. Riding on board with Dylan McDowell in the 213 Porsche, who is going to go dead flat even on this lap. Looks like no improvement for McDowell.
Yep, we're seeing good showing from Piper and Zeri once again. Obviously, Zeri had pretty strong seat last season in the Mustang, continuing on with the same machinery. Piper's gone back from the Audi to the Bentley, kind of yo-yos between those cars a little bit, and kind of finding a bit more feet in the Bentley. Granted, when you come from something like the Audi, anything's going to feel more comfortable. But the Bentley, I have to say, from first-hand experience, is in a very strong position overall in the natural BOP. And I'm sure there'll be more than a few people who say it's a bit overpowered, and those people know who they are.
Oh, Matthew Lamb just losing a bit of time through Clubhouse there, down about 15, sorry, a tenth of a second now. Sorry. A little bit unwell, so my mathematics skills out the window right now. See if he can get any of that back, and he's back to dead flat as we're coming out to Crowthorne. No, we're not. We're coming out to Leocoup. My track map is like reversed, so it's a bit here and there.
Yep. We can apologize to Jean Pierre in the chat for all our mispronunciations of the South African track corner names. But I'm sure he'll all put us right when he comes back on the combat. I don't think Peach isn't commentating this season, which is a shame. Um, but I'm sure he'll come out and dominate on track like he did in Split Red. I'm sure I'll be keen to.
As we got Matthew Lamb approaching the final corner, about 2/10 of a
Game.
second up, 3/10 of a second up. How good? Oh no, we're losing a little bit of it. It's bleeding away. It is going to be an improvement, but not by much. Just putting his stamp on that qualifying session. So we have pretty much everyone through. We're just waiting on Zeri and Spenceley. Zeri going a little bit slower on this one. And it looks like that's going to be pretty much what our top 10 looks like for this race tonight at Kyalami. But yeah, so we were sort of touching on it briefly. Sorry, I'm going to come back to that and I'll just go through. Oh, it's gone. No, we're back. It's too pixelated for me. Matthew Lamb, absolutely dominant performances so far in Split Yellow. Currently sitting approximately, by my mathematics, 49 points ahead of Mitch Hobbs in second place. And Jeremy Zeri, as you were saying as well, actually a quite no, sorry, but a lead in the silver class. So really good performances by them. Do you want to run through our qualifying, please, and thank you, Cameron?
Sure, we'll run through the top 10. So it's obviously headed up by Matthew Lamb in the Porsche, with Luke Johnson in the Castrol McLaren alongside of him. Will be on the outside coming into well, turn 2, because the actual first real corner of this track is the second corner, but the little kink in the straight counts as its own corner. But anyway, it'll be followed up by Benjamin Piper in the Bentley, in the Permobile Bentley, followed by Jeremy Zeri in the Mustang to make up the second row. I believe it's Dylan McDowd in the second Porsche, followed by Brian Kong in the Ferrari. And oh dear, looks like I think we just lost Luke Johnson to pits, and then might be from the server altogether. So that's going to be a real shame. But to finish things up, it'll be the T Spence in the 420 car, the McLaren, to make up row 4, followed by Spence Lee in the Porsche on 16, as they all should shift forward. Actually, they probably won't, because they'll probably keep that gap on the. I'm not sure if they actually. I think they will all move forward one position, so everyone's going to have to swap sides for the start. And then K, Harsh, and Fakori make up the top 10. Unfortunately, we've lost everything. We've gone down from 19 to 18. So unfortunately, yes, we have lost Luke Johnson. Maybe he can get back in just in time. Benjamin Piper was pinging back to the pits there, so I'm a little bit worried for everyone. But hopefully, you can all hang in there and make it to the start of this race, and hopefully to the end.
Yeah, I want to see Johnson back in. I know last week he had no force feedback with his wheel, so he kind of had to call it quits pretty early, especially at a track like Brands Hatch, who are going to struggle like that. So hopefully he can get back in and have a nice race as we're getting close to getting underway.
Yeah. Anyway, obviously, as the season starts to wind down a little bit, obviously lose a few people. It's a bit sad to see we lost our attendance. Maybe some people like taking this week off to get started on the Nordschleife practice. Obviously, we'll be at the start of this not start next week, and then the following week, so we'll have a bit of a gap in sprints. But yeah, real shame for Luke Johnson. Unfortunately, we've lost him there. And looks like he's not going to be able to take the start, and looks like Benjamin Piper is not moving either. He keeps flashing back to the pits, as we can see, so a potential connection issue, and hasn't gotten going. He is now rolling now, and I think with Emmanuel Star, you won't be teleported, so it should be okay as long as he get back to where he was, which he is doing right now. So unfortunately, we're going to make things a little bit too easy for Matthew Lamb. We see we're obviously absent of no Brit, no Hobbsy this week either, so it's a little bit of a shame to see, I think Lem might be a little bit uncontested. Arguably, he was a little bit uncontested at Brands anyway, but, we'll see how things go. I'm sure Zeri and Piper will do their utmost to do what they can from their positions.
Yeah, I mean, in the wet, it's a whole different ball game. It's pretty easy to make a mistake. I think we literally saw Matthew Lamb come across at Cheetah, which is extremely easy to do. So I'm not calling anything until that checkered flag is waving.
Yep, absolutely not. You never. You gotta wait until the last the checkered flag until it counts. Oh, that means nothing. So just a reminder, it is a 60-minute race, and there is no mandatory stops at all. So hopefully everyone has fueled up to go from here to the end. We've got Luke Johnson back in the server in the pit lane right now, so looking to hopefully be a pit lane start for our Castrol McLaren, and we should see him come through the field ideally. So we are reserving the right to leave the gap as well, so everyone's won't be shifting up. I think that's probably just for the sake of everyone doesn't have to kind of go up one spot. Actually, it should be. I'm not too sure what's happening on that one. I'll just leave it as it is. To be honest, don't look at it. And it does say Piper is in between Spence and Spenceley when he's not. It's just the timing line things, shenanigans. But we're rolling up in double file. Hopefully, everyone crosses their group boxes as they're meant to do. It's a little bit harder to see here in the web. So round Ingwe, it will be Lamb from Piper from Zeri. And it will go green flag very shortly, quite late, I have to say, here at Kyalami. But we got green lights, and the Porsche has jumped away as well as a good start here from Dylan McDowell. Is going to try and have a look at the in between the Bentley and the Mustang, but that door was firmly closed and not really on right now. And he's got to defend now from Spence as well as Brian Kong goes around the outside of Spence. And we have a little bit of a contention at the back as we've got one, two, three Porsches all vying for position. A little bit squirrely from the back one at the back. And Wesley Yao leading up that little triplet of the 911s and hopefully going along straight. Piper is having a little bit of contesting there with Zeri, but Zeri's going to firmly put his stamp on P2 so far. And Piper, see if we can retaliate in any such way as Dylan McDowell runs in P4.
How has Matthew Lamb already nearly put a second on Jeremy Zeri? That is insanity. But
Is
yeah,
underway.
down the back there, we were three wide through turn one, and I was extremely nervous after some historical events from OOR were revealed to me earlier this week. The car park sequence, if you will. Um, Hopefully, we'll get to see that actually played again. As we got Luke Johnson at the back, 6 seconds from Paul Kranich in P18. Going for the Lucas Keys strategy, we're going to make our way all the way through the fields and end up P2. That's what's going to happen. I'm saying it. I'm putting my mark on it. Oh, so you got McDowell going a bit wide into Cheetah. It happens to the best of us. Doesn't actually kill you in the wet as long as you don't get too much steering input. You can save yourself there, but that was quite wide, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, indeed. It's better to go wide there than to hit the inside and then fire off into the barrier. I will say it's honestly not the worst place to go wide, but you won't be the only one.
Yeah, definitely. The inside, absolute death. Going wide on the outside is like, you'll be okay. You're just going to bleed a little bit of speed, probably.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I'll be interested to see how Luke Johnson gets through the field. There is obviously no mandatory stops, so he'll have to make it all happen on track, and hopefully can have a nice clean cut through the field with some good racing. So
He's
Edward Fakori here. What?
already squashed that gap. It's down to less than a second to Rondinello, who's actually dropped down behind Paul Kranich in the 97 Mustang. So the game is afoot, if you will.
Okay, Sherlock. Yes, there's a Rondinello. I'm not too sure if he. I think he also likes to start from the back, and probably a better race for him with the reduced attendance this week, which obviously a bit sad to see that one. And hopefully, the other splits are a little bit more fulfilled. Let's see if I Corey there. Yeah, in P7, a good start from him in the Ferrari. Should be a good race here from the Ferraris. They are pretty good in the wet, as we see Wesley Yao in the 992 goes up the inside of Hayden Marsh, I believe, and has made the job done so far with a good overtake into Crocodiles. That's very good from the Porsche there, and he's going to be a little bit under threat now from Christoph in the other Ferrari. A bit surprised to see that one a bit that far down the caliber of Christoph as a driver. And also now having a go at Liam Kane as Wesley Yao, and definitely finding his feet here in the Porsche. And it's going to be a bit of a drag race between the two cars, as I think even Stevens coming down the straight with a little bit of a lead gain to Wesley Yao. He's trying to edge off the car of Liam K, but gets it stopped nicely for the turn two and the real turn one of this track, and gets the move done. So two places in a couple of quick corners. Very good there from Wesley Yao.
Yeah, exquisite from Wesley Yao. Little battle pack going here. Everyone's having a bit of a look inside and out. Liam K.
I apologize. That
Tommy
was
Ward
Spensley,
hasn't.
not UK.
Okay, we've got three Porsches in a row. Yeah, Spenceley actually then almost losing out two positions because Marsh was having a good look inside of him, and then Darth was having a look on inside of Marsh. So keen to see how this plays out.
A little bit offline there from Spencer. It's going to be a bad run up the hill. And it's surely going to give Hayden Marsh a little bit of something to try and retaliate. And there's a little bit of a touch as the kind of cars ebb and flow from the left to the right of each side of the track. And unfortunately, Fry's going to be a little bit scuppered there at the top. And
Yeah, that's
hopefully it
exactly
doesn't
kind of
come
what I
back right.
was talking about, where you can kind of just park your car on the inside line and you'll be okay. Because Marsh really had like greater speed through the S's there, but couldn't really capitalize just from like nice easy defending from Spenceley. So it's hard to get a move done here, but it can be done. We did see Yao literally just make two moves. So
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky coming up to the from the S's up to Luke Klopp as the as I said the track kind of the natural racing line goes from the left to the right and the sometimes a little bit misunderstanding on which way drivers are going, and obviously when they're defending inside, if you do go in there, but it's so easy to get your braking wrong at the top of the car. It's many a driver have fallen foul, and I can't imagine it's gone any easier in the wet conditions. Coming down through the Jusky Sweep, or as the car park, as it's known in Octane Online Racing, and going now down to Sunset from Barbecue. And nice sequence of corner names here. Nothing too all general names that we can all understand. Nothing too complicated, to say the least.
yeah, it's a refreshing change of pace after Zandvoort, that's for sure. As these guys are
Yes.
in a little. Oh,
Oh dear. Oh, that's going to hold the brakes, and he does so sufficiently. Oh dear, his head march got a little bit wide on the exit,
oh
and just
no.
glances as well off the arm coat and gets going again. That'll be very unfortunate for the Ferrari driver, but he's still going. I don't think he'll have too much damage, even from that hitting the barrier just at the end there, just to get the car around. But yep, a little bit too wide on Clubhouse and just throttled up with one wheel on the grass. And it doesn't take much to go around. Oh, speaking of round, we've got a Porsche facing backward right at the back there. The white and blue one colors. I apologize. I'm not too sure which one it is. Is Daryl Lim in the 19 car was quite some front damage. It's a bit odd to see a car off of there. So I wonder if that's the same issue as he's finding that a broken car isn't necessarily going to be up to speed and not have the downforce coming into that mine shaft, and maybe might have to pit for some damage there in the B Racing Farina car.
Yeah, unfortunate for Lim. That's gonna be a bit of a tricky one. Doesn't look like he's gonna come in. He's gonna soldier on though. So see how that one plays out, Cotton.
Indeed. It's the gap up the top of the field. You see two McLarens are going to hopefully come through the field and form Rondadella and Johnson on the back of Tom Kidden. But yeah, Matthew Lamb obviously with the fastest lap, 3 seconds over Jeremy Zeri, followed by Benjamin Piper, and covering about 5 seconds between those top three. And it's still all tit for tat from there on down, with Dylan McDowell, followed by Kong, Spence, McCrory, Kay, Yao, and Spenceley. So definitely a lot of points on the board with the reduced attendance for some of these drivers to get some, lots of meat onto their championship bids. And days like this is where you got to kind of make it count, and I'm sure it'll be very good for some, and unfortunate for others. And this potentially is going to be a drop round for many drivers.
Yeah, you gotta show up if you wanna glow up, I guess. Ooh, a little bit of a side there. Lovely stuff though. Just want to say prediction for Luke Johnson's looking good. We're up into P15. The dream lives on.
I think Luke Johnson is very capable of getting this car into easily top 10. I reckon he could get into the top 5.
I think top 10 is definitely doable. In like pushing aside my fever dreams here, top 10 definitely doable. Top 5, I want to see it for sure.
Indeed. He hasn't lost overall too much pace, and yeah, hopefully he's just kind of finding his feet a little bit as he looks to be all over the back of Tom Kidman, but he's gonna struggle coming down the straight here. You might want to tuck back into that slipstream as he does. He just wants to fill the mirrors and make sure he is known to Tom Kidman, as I'm sure he's probably going to send it now into turn one. He'll just wait until you break and I'll break later, and he does so. The Kidman isn't really kind of giving up and goes wide, misses the apex, and makes it very easy there for Luke Johnson.
Yeah, nicely done. One of those places I was saying you can get a move done, send it down the inside, make yourself known. Pray tell that your fellow driver gives you that space, but yeah, gets the move done. Nicely done. Oh, a little bit wide for the MK there, but all as well. Oh, a bit of curve as well. Curbs here are a little bit tricky. Some of them you can take and it's pretty okay. You can use those curbs to give yourself a little bit more rotation, but they are a little bit spicy, obviously in the wet more so than in the dry. But yeah, some of them you absolutely do not want to touch either. Following along with Liam K and a 777 Porsche. Still got this little bit of a battle pack going. About 1 second between everyone.
I think
Between
Liam K's had a moment actually, because he was ahead of Wesley Yao. Sorry to interrupt you, Blake.
no,
I'm
you're
pretty
good.
certain, yeah, he was ahead of Yao when we last checked in on Yao's overtake.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Obviously, like many drivers we've seen out there, probably had a small moment somewhere, and that's all that matters. When the field is this kind of close and tightly bunched, it is 10 minutes so far into this race, and so going to be a long way to go still. And it's obviously with no pit stops, it's all about keeping the mistakes to a minimum, keeping it on track. As I have to say, yes, Spencer looking to come back a little bit out Wesley Yao so far.
Yeah, a lot of racing to still happen. There's a lot of mistakes to make potentially, so you got to be on it. You got to be focused. As I said, it's not over till that flag waves. Spencer coming down through Sunset. T6 coming up to Clubhouse, following right behind Wesley Yao in the 992. Getting pretty close here now. That looks like less than 8/10, I believe we're still a little bit behind. Now this
Yeah, it does
section
seem
of track,
to.
oh yeah, taking too much curb there. That's going to slow him down immensely. Any mistake through this section, you bleed so much speed coming up through there. But it's not quite enough of a mistake for Spencer to have a look at Yao.
Yeah, kind of got himself a little bit too much curb, and it didn't seem to unset the car too much, but many couldn't really get on the throttle as early as he did, as we see a replay here. Thank you very much, Glenn, as he just drifts off wide and onto the wetter part of the track at the S's, and unfortunately all the momentum that you get through these corners when you get it right means it's equally punishing when you get it wrong, and he falls all the way back behind Christoph as a result. So yeah, that's really does explain what happened to the MK there. It's unfortunate, but he's still in the race, and he still can definitely get a good result out of this one.
Yeah,
It
did a
was
bit
a
of that.
little bit unfortunate last week. I believe he got caught up in someone else's accident.
Yeah, a little bit of that like pogo physics that you see in ACC sometimes, where you kind of bounce and then like keep bouncing and just keeps you going like all the way off the track. There's Yao a little bit deep in there, but gets away with it again. I think Spencer putting the pressure on, looking to force a mistake on Yao's hand. Again,
That's
a bit of
wide.
curb, wide, and there it is. Just like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we saw good things from Yao, but I think he has kind of succumbed to the pressure a little bit from Spencer, and Spencer did exactly what he needed to and just kind of forced the issue and kept his mistakes to a minimum. He got past as a result.
Johnson just having a look outside of Sunset, but it doesn't look like he's able to get it done. Oh, he's getting antsy. He needs to get past Ataneyake, but it's not going to happen just yet.
Yeah. So not sure what's happened to Rondinella. I think he's had an issue in himself as well, and he's dropped back to P18, so it's not too great from there. It's Wesley Yao under pressure now from Christoph a bit. I think he's kind of lost his rhythm and mojo as you see Luke Johnson get up the inside of the Aston Martin. I'm not sure if he went a little bit too deep at Luke Kopp, and subsequently Luke is going to be all over the back of now. I believe that is Ben Winton. Look to the outside and kind of forces Porsche to break on the inside line, which is the shorter line, which generally doesn't mean you get your car stops. The switchback move means it's going to have the inside now for Cheetah, and surely day is done for the McLaren on the Porsche. Easily past there as Atiyaka looks to get past the Porsche as well.
A
Good
little
job
bit
from Luke
tail happy
Johnson.
there, but yeah, gets it done. Very brave move through Cheetah. I don't know if I would be ballsy enough to do such a thing, but yeah, faith in his fellow racer and able to get the move done. Nicely done.
I think if
Where's
you're up the inside for Cheetah, if you're going to be on the inside, and as long as you are kind of past the you're equally alongside, if not ahead, then you can do as anything you want. And the car can't do anything on the outside. Pretty much at Cheetah, it's kind of a back out and surrender corner.
yeah, as yeah, still under pressure from Darth here, holding their metal a little bit better so far, but I reserve the right to take that back as I immediately commentated cursed them just before.
That's fair. You're allowed that as a commentator. Another house gaming as well. It Zeri.
Oh,
Oh dear! As Christoph piles into Wesley Yao, and it's going to be a free position at least for Luke Johnson, if not two. And Wesley Yao does a good job in waiting for a gap and finds one subsequently. As yep, Christoph is still there waiting.
I was just a bit too hungry there from Christoph. Um, I literally commentated to curse that. Kind of in a different way, I guess. But yeah, just too hot coming into Leocoup from Christoph. Hopefully, not too much damage on those cars, and they can keep going. Speaking of, Daryl, is it? Apologies, Lim is still out there. I don't believe they pitted after that one, so I wonder what kind of situation they've got going on in that cockpit.
Yeah, it does look like there's some front damage, but if it's okay to them, then that's you drive on. You would say. And as long as they can keep that up for the next 43 minutes, might be lacking a little bit of front downforce, I imagine. But I don't know, damage works in a bit different from car to car and how much it does affect them. But to be fair, there isn't much place to get up to top speed around this track, which is where you find bodywork damage kind of is all affecting the top end speed of all the cars. But you know, this is not really a top end track. Unlike Bathurst, obviously, we'll be running the finale at. But yeah,
Yeah,
going well so far.
doesn't look too bad. The steering is relatively straight. So yeah, I guess no reason to not kick on.
Absolutely. So all that carnage happened so far has put Luke Johnson up. I was going to say up into the top 10, but now he's moved up into P9 as he goes around the outside of K, down, breaking for Luke Kopp. So very good move there from Luke Johnson. Not normally received from the outside line, but I wonder if Liam K had a little bit of a bad exit through the S's, and that's kind of what put the McLaren on the stride a little bit. Surely got to be I feel more confident ever so than the about the top 5 prediction now that he's now gotten into P9 in 20 minutes so far.
Yeah, really impressive drive so far from Luke Johnson. Got this timing board tonight is killing me. Yeah, there we go. 5.5 seconds to the next target.
Yep, we won't be closing that in a lap to say the least. So a little bit of time for Luke Johnson, but he's got pace as we've seen, and there's just got to maintain consistency and not full astride of any foul when he makes these overtakes done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Matthew Lamb just fastest lap on fastest lap on fastest lap. Build up 8 seconds to P2. Jeremy Zeri right now, so he's making hay while the rain comes down, I guess.
Absolutely. Looking to only bolster his championship position as Zeri still holding on P2. But still within the mistake range, pretty much over Piper and McDowell still. As Dylan McDowell is doing a good job to hang on to these two because they looked pretty speedy at the start, but he's starting to come back at them a little bit.
Still all to play for that final spot of the podium.
It's unfortunate, yeah. I'm missing, obviously, as I said, Brit before. Got no Brit, we got no Hobbsy. Don't have any Benjamin Piper even as well, unfortunately. So, yeah, definitely going to be big opportunities here for Zeri and Piper in the McDowell as a whole. But Matthew Lamb, obviously, leading up the championship so far, only going to extend that from his closest rival, which is Mitch Hobb. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good. He's won all the races so far, I believe, with fastest laps and everything. So, I think he's going for a straight 6 this season, to say the least.
Not a flat 6, but
That was terrible. I get it, but
I'll see myself out.
yeah. I'll let chat be your opinion on that as Ben Winton under threat from Kidman and go side by side through barbecue. And we are run down now to sunset as the Porsche just manages to edge ahead of the Mustang, but the Mustang comes back up the inside, shows the nose, but doesn't necessarily send it. Ben Winton leaves in the space, and they go now into Clubhouse, and it is still Ben Winton in front in the Porsche. But Kidman looking pretty quick there in the pink Mustang.
Yeah, all over the wing of Winton, but Winton's shutting the door there after giving him a nice amount of space through sunset, just saying you're gonna have to earn it if you want to get around me.
Yeah, a lot of drivers. It is a valid overtaking tactic. It's a fighting tactic to kind of show the nose up the inside, but not necessarily go for it. And we saw like Ben kind of fell victim to it a little bit and left the space up the inside that he didn't necessarily need to, but managed to carry enough speed that it didn't mean he was losing a position. And he went well so far as he comes now through into Cheetah for both cars and just see how it takes it in the Mustang. One benefit to being in a Bentley, you get to see the apex. You get to get nice and close to the apex, being on the right side of the car. As long as you're not one of those dirty bonnet you cam users.
Called out.
Let's see, we still have all 19 cars still going, despite some trip ups for some of them. Still all going out there, like Reza Yao and Daryl Lim as well. Wonder now it's pulling back to 19 now, so it's
was
really,
about to bring attention to that. Lutey, what is happening, mate? The guys in front of you had huge spins off the track, and you're behind them. You could do better.
You get called out, Luke.
I'm on the mic tomorrow night with Lutey.
He can explain himself tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll get the ins. I'll give him a bit of a grilling, the ins and outs, what went wrong, so others can learn from him in split red and blue.
Yeah, not to rack on him too much, but I was watching the stream and my expectations were low, but man, sorry, he just looked all over the place out there, even in practice. What's going on?
Maybe he's just not quite a wet track
just
operator.
McLaren drivers, frankly.
So we got a first penalty coming through for Chris Starth. 15-second causing a collision. I believe we saw that with Lim. No, that was not Lim. That was Yao.
Yeah, and not surprised to see a penalty for that one. It's pretty clear cut. I can't saw it late, so I can't really commentate too much. But looked like it was just yeah, unfortunate when you get the braking wrong into Le Cop, it usually spells disaster for either you or going in front.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a bit of that. Too late. Coming in too hot. Not much to be done. Unfortunately, both cars go around and everyone's a bit sad. These cars are actually tightening up. It's becoming a four-way battle pack here between Ataliake, Winston, Kidman, and Yao at the back there in that Porsche, all within a second of each other. Who will come out on top of this one, battling just for the right to fight into the top 10. Coming up to Lou Cop. Oh, we've got a replay here. Oh, this is Luke D. Jaden Rondinella, the 88 McLaren.
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, doesn't find the ball. Went a bit wide there, turn 2, and obviously lost the position to the Mustang of Paul Kranich. And the rejoin. I'm not sure if that one went to the stewards between him and Hayden Marsh. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one, frankly. I don't know who to call fault in that one.
Yeah, that one's a one for the stewards. I was kind of focused on saying things. I wasn't actually taking in what was happening. But that explains why Jaden Rondinella is running all the way at the back there, but he is still just losing time, I will say. So
yeah, it might be a case of also like having tires flat spotted a little bit. I know these tires, like especially in the wet, like once they start to kind of, if you have a few spins, they tend to just get worse and worse and worse, and they don't really get better, to say the least. But yeah, might be have to get a new set, which would be a bit unfortunate because unfortunately we don't have any mandatories. So yeah, any pit stop's gonna lose you a whole bunch of time as Matthew Lamb is really seal clubbing the whole field on a 12-second lead now over Jeremy Zeri.
Kidman pulling away. That does not look like. Sorry. Winton is pulling away from Kidman. That looks like a 1.6 second gap. So battle pack splitting up a little bit. Winton and Ataniake getting away. Ataniake leading the AM class tonight over Bill Winton.
Yeah, I'm doing a very good job so far. The Aston Martin, that's he is only just ahead of the Porsche in the fellow AM class. Yeah, the guys play the cards right. They could be on for a top 10, as they're not that far off.
Luke Johnson check. We are 3.2 seconds away from Spensley in the Porsche. We're chipping away. We're chipping away.
I hope Luke Johnson's able to. He would have been able to load his setup as per normal, starting from the pit lane and everything. But yeah, I believe he would have had to wait quite a bit until all the cars pass. So a little bit unfortunate. But still in the race, and obviously, hopefully, has his feedback and everything. Wouldn't mind swapping hardware issues with him right now. So I think I can win that battle.
No. Don't bring it up. It's too sad.
Yeah, it's I'm more sad that you won't be able to see my great livery next week when you commentate Split Blue.
It is a very nice livery. I'm trying to hold off a little bit on the livery talk because I feel like I rely on it a little bit too much, but there is some really, really great liveries going around OOR.
Nah, don't hold back. It's a great talking point out there. I always like to natter on about the liveries as well, doing the commentary block. Hopefully we'll start seeing some of the as yeah, I was gonna say Kidman looked like he was a bit late on the brakes and had to kind of duck out of things and stop going into the back of the Porsche up ahead. He's going to lose the position to the Porsche behind. Potentially this race, supposedly Yao ducks out of it and decided he didn't want to take the fight into Cheetah and got out at the last second there. Looks like he was kind of on for it. That said, though, he was just alongside.
Yeah, I don't blame him. It's a spicy place to try and be alongside. You have to have a lot of faith in your fellow driver there. I think the time will come though. I mean, there's literally nothing there. As he switches to the inside, has a look, lets Kidman know that he's hunting for it, but it's not quite on just yet. Kidman going slightly deep, but it doesn't punish you too much unless you're Jaden Rondanillo, apparently. That one felt mean.
Well, not if I harshly. Well, we can't help me harshly, but he's losing even more time to Hayden right now. So I'm not sure if he's just having fun there on his stream out there. As Wizard Yao has a little bit of a swapper coming through Sunset.
It's Yao looking like that 2000s F1 Ferrari that had oversteer and understeer at the same time through that corner. That was peculiar, to say the least. Oh, is he? No. Shows himself a little bit on the inside there, but way too far away. Takes a lot of curb as well.
You hear a lot from these Mustang drivers that they do struggle on tyres, and I wonder how that's going to be in the wet. Because generally, you know, in the wet, like you don't generally drive as hard as you do in the dry. You kind of underdrive the car a little bit generally. I'm not saying it applies to everyone. It's all kind of shit in the Club 50 car. Very nice. But yeah, these Mustangs kind of just kind of yeah, apparently they struggle a lot on tyres, but whether that's really translating to the wet, we'll see. Obviously, you know, you kind of generally underdrive the car, like you don't use as much fuel, or sometimes it reflects as well on the tyres, but you know, see how it goes into the races. We've seen these Porsches still quite good. I wonder if they're going to have this pace still come the end of the race once the tyres have worn down a bit, once the tread blocks have come down. Hopefully they'll have the grip to back things up.
These two are repeating pretty much what they did last lap. Yeah, I was pulled in close in the first couple of corners, or last corners to first corners. We'll see if Kidman can get away again coming through this faster section in that Mustang. Better sunset corner there from Yao, though. Didn't get all crossed up.
Yeah, Winton, we saw a few laps ago all over the back of Atanyaki, now subsequently formed back to Ben Winton. So it's just how, you know, a little mistake here and there can just undo so much hard work, and it's really just about keeping it clean as Winton nearly gets a Mustang into the back of him, pop his gearbox. And, good job to avoid him, Kidman. Whether that's kind of you know, the Porsche kind of being caught out by the Porsche braking early, or whether he's braking too late, who can tell? But I'm hoping these guys can keep it clean, no incidents, please. So Johnson now 0.1 off Ferrari, sorry.
All good. We're on Luke Johnson watch tonight. But yeah, oh, so deep for Kidman. I did not see what happened there, but I mean, it's exactly what you're talking about. Is where's the Yao just goes straight by. I mean, that's a big mistake that cost you a lot. But these guys are sort of doing in a bit of an accordion effect where someone makes a mistake and it brings everyone closer, and then they get away a little bit, and it just keeps going back and forth. But yeah, that would cost Kidman pretty bad there.
Don't want to go too wide at the last corner. One, because it might slow you down, and two, the last corner is actually kind of a cliff edge, because I believe it actually goes downhill there, but the runoff area is actually on a platform, and yeah, you don't really want to have a bad accident there, to say the least.
Luke Johnson is now all over the back of Fakori. Oh, Fakori, got to get off that curb. There's a bit of a bump at the end there. It's a bit ugly, but I was best to see Mako and Maka violence, and that might be it if Johnson can keep it tight and tidy through there. A bit of a drag race now down to the fast corner. Luke Johnson asserting himself in front and says, "See you later, mate," as we come into the crocodiles. See, Luke Johnson's just
he's gone what? He's gone straight on.
A bit deep, but I think he'll get away with that. But you can see just from the body language of the car and where he's placing, Luke Johnson is just absolutely giving it everything there. Really like pushing all the limits of the track, which is so sketchy in the wet. But right now, it's working for him. 10 seconds up to Spenceley. Game on.
Johnson was a little bit sore. You could see when he went under the braking, it was kind of because it's a little bit tricky to braking into crocodiles, because I think the fastest way to stick to the to the line requires you to just like slightly trail brake, as the line isn't necessarily straight, because it's sort of a curved entry into crocodiles, and the McLaren was I think a little bit too much angle, kind of like that NASCAR that they did quite so many years ago, where the rear tires. It's quite hard to explain, but the rear axle wasn't in line with the front axle. It was offset to the right, which meant the car perpetually looked like it was going. It was slightly crabbing, but it made it really quick around the load. Everyone should look that up. It's kind of fascinating in its own odd
that sounds
way.
Absurd. It was crabbing and it made it faster. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was like the rear axle was like a little shifted to the right, so the car was kind of like angled. But anyway, Wesley Yao here all over the back of Ben Winter, trying to force the error, and it's kind of going back to what these two were fighting earlier, and it's like Wesley Yao maybe found his pace a little bit. Maybe now that he's the one doing the threatening and not being under threat. Atayoke just up ahead as well. Oh, I was going to say there's a wet curb there on the left, but he manages to hold it a little bit so, but doesn't lose a whole bunch of time. But did good to hold him into that one.
Don't break over wet curbs, kids. It's just absolutely horrendous. But I didn't actually lose too much there. Just a nice sideways slide through the crocodiles. So still alive. The game is still on.
Yeah, we are approaching the two-thirds part, kind of part into this race. It'll be interesting to see how things go on. It's one of it's just like a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of errors kind of kicking in from some of these drivers. That seeing a lot of drivers who were looking very strong at the start, kind of came on strong, and then suddenly they're the ones now suddenly under threat as well. Like, so it's really ebbing and flowing, like I said, the accordion effect. But you can see how things go. I wonder if it's a little bit of tire wear, a little bit of fatigue, and errors creeping in here and there. Maybe these drivers haven't raced in the wet for this long as well. Like, it's going to be a 1 hour race, and Wesley Yao gets very close on the brakes, but it means he's not really kind of taking the optimal line as a result. But he's still managing to stay close. Oh, as Ben Winter's completely gone, and he got things completely wrong for the entry onto the S's. He doesn't even reach the S's before it's gone wrong. And not too sure what happened there. Whether it was, I don't think there was a touch between the two cars, but it looked like he kind of just either tried to flick it in when it was not at too much speed. When we got to brake for the S's, it was quite weird to say the least.
Yeah, it looks like maybe because you brake a bit there to get the nose turned in, but maybe it's just a little bit late, and then the rear just outpaced the front and got him turned all the way around. Is that Hayden Marsh with a penalty for the collision with Rondinella? Or am I misremembering?
It says lap 18, which was only 3 laps ago, and I'm pretty certain it wasn't on 3 laps ago, so I don't think that's the one that we saw, so there may have been something else out there. But yes, Hayden Marsh has moved ahead of Paul Kranich. Paul Kranich was doing quite well. It was quite, I think he was up as P15 and P14, but I wonder if he's had a bit of a moment somewhere and dropped back. But he's still in the race, still going to score points over drivers who are not here. So, we know like Paul Kranich is never wants to quit, always makes the finish line.
I do want to touch on something you were just saying before, because I think it's actually a really interesting thing from a mindset point of drivers. Talking about sort of chasing versus being chased. How do you feel about that? Is there something that you prefer to be doing? Do you prefer defending or do you prefer attacking?
It's hard to say what I like and what I enjoy, because I'm not. I know that I'm a driver who doesn't do well under pressure. I generally. Oh, is going to see a replay here. Yeah, I think like you said, it might have been a little bit of brake, a little bit late, and I think he had a wheel on the painted white line as well on the entry, which I think was a part of the reason why he went there. Probably, I think he was a little bit late, kind of coming into that corner. Just manages to get around before the two cars come through. Thankfully, no issue there, but unfortunately there for Ben Winton, and I'm hoping those tyres are okay, because generally I've found in the past, once you have a spin, they just get worse and worse. They really start to fall off a cliff somewhat.
Yeah, usually after a mistake like that, yeah, as you said, it literally just gets worse. Like, it just feels so bad after something like that. Oh, Benjamin Piper all over the wing of Jeremy Zeri right now, less than half a second. Does need to be said, as chat has just pointed out, Matthew Lamb is doing laps that are a second faster than anyone else right now. That is...
Yeah, I found it a bit rich coming from Jean-Pierre Sneakers, seeing that he finished the race like 20 seconds ahead of everyone else last week. He can shut it, frankly.
Whoa!
Biggest seal clubber in Split Red.
Wowee! I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot ball.
I'm not. I can't race anymore, so I don't have to like beg for setups anymore. So I can be fully. I can say what I want, like Pete. Well, I say that anyway.
But Piper looking to force a mistake from Jeremy Zeri. The pressure is on. Still got a good 18 minutes here. It's quite a few laps to go. So
I'm not
Zeri's...
biased by it. I go with the Bentley-shaped car.
Which one? They're both Bentley shapes.
No, one's actually pretty and one's like...
Oh, you drive the Bentley, right?
I
mean, you still drive it. It's just going to be a little bit of a break.
Might have to do the rest of the season and control it if I really wanted to.
Hey, I can send you my old Logitech G29 if you like.
I've got a wheel. That's not the problem.
Oh no, the pedals. They only work with the Logitech stuff, so better than nothing.
Gotta love closed ecosystems. But yes, nice to see a battle here for P2 forming as kind of dropped Dylan McDowd a little bit. It's good to see. I think Spence. I'm sure that's Kong got ahead of Spence as well, and Johnson kind of closing on Spencer as well. So starting to close up a little bit now for the top 10. A few more battles in there, as we've kind of been looking to all the battles for P11, 12, 13, and the bottom half of the grid generally for our battles so far. But it's nice to see the top 10 kind of start to close up a little bit.
I think Luke Johnson has actually been close to Spencer for a little while now, so that move hasn't quite happened yet. It hasn't eventuated. But
yeah, I mean, it is hard to make a move if the driver ahead of you just doesn't make an error and is on your pace.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, moving to the back of the grid, no disrespect to the drivers down there, but generally that means that they have less pace and it's easier to get a move done. You start moving up and it gets more tricky every single time. So we'll see where Johnson ends up.
We've got the cameras on them now, so we can blame any mistake on us.
Not always.
We're getting to the 15-minute mark, so 3/4 of the way there. Stay tuned, everyone, for our split green entry after this. I believe we'll have probably Connor and his normal co-commentator who lose me now, Luke Johnson, of course, and Joshua Holm. I imagine doing their split green. Obviously, I believe Josh Arms is from South Africa, so he can allude us to all the stories I'm sure he would have. Maybe.
I believe so. He is quite fond of this track, and that did seem to be a running theme through the people that really like this track. Oh, Luke Johnson getting close there, but looking a little bit squirrely.
Absolutely, and Spencer now Spencer's just been doing this. Oh my God, Lamb, stop it! He's finally done his 45,
Stop
and 45 minutes in, so he's not being held back on tires, to say the least. And going well out there in the Porsche. It's incredible. You'll see a bit of fuel burn off, but still got enough rubber out there. And the track really hasn't changed condition anyway. It's just been full wet with the same amount of rain. Yeah, maybe if we had, I'm not sure if we had, say, 10 more cars, it would dry it a little bit more. But this, the rain has been persistent, and obviously it's set weather as well for this round, so it wouldn't necessarily dry up. It's very wide there from Luke Johnson on the exit, and that's gonna really hamper him down the straights.
Yeah, as you're just sort of saying about the weather, I was mentioning in quali we were going to see it speeding up a bit, which I think it did, but in this race, I don't know if it's like tire wear versus the water being moved off the track, but it doesn't seem to have gotten that much quicker to me. It doesn't look particularly dry, but
I think we've had a moment with Lim and I want to say Kranich out there. Oh, there's more yellows out there. Oh dear.
Oh my.
Oh dear, there's 2 incidents to look at. I'm pretty sure I saw 19 and 97, which is Lim and Kranich were together stopped at the Crocodiles. And then it looks like, I think that was Hayden Marsh and I think another Porsche at the last corner at Ingwe. So, oh dear, there's been some coming together and lower down in the field. And oh my goodness, Paul Lamb, Matthew Lamb's already gonna start lapping these guys in the so far, as he's I think has just lapped the 88 of Rondinella. First car lapped. Sorry, Luke. Not sorry.
Has to be someone, I guess.
He's quicker than that, so we can rib him. He should be doing a lot better than this, frankly. I know he's had a few incidents, but come on, Luke.
I'll get to the bottom of it tomorrow. We'll have an in-depth conversation as the practice.
Don't take anything from him. Do not hold back.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll grill him. Grill him big time. Alright, so we're going to get a look at that moment. So we're following along with Lim. Looking okay, getting wide, very wide, braking on the curb, spinning around. Happens to the best of us. Now we're going to see a disgrace of a rejoin or a regular rejoin.
Okay, yeah, I think Paul Kanish looks fine. Probably was just slowing up. So, I think Christoph just went into the back of Ben Winton there. And that's unfortunately their second misdemeanor. Oh dear. Yeah, that's
braking on the curb a little bit again, but too fast, I think, anyway. It looks like he stopped to redress that. So yeah, that's the
guilty dog look, to say the least. Yeah, didn't need all the angles to suss that one out, to say the least, and I'm sure that'll be another one for the stewards. And I think he knew that straight away when he pulled over, frankly. And it looks like Zeri's managed to break away a little bit from Piper, so it might have cleaned up a few mistakes, found a little bit more pace. Well, so far Spencer still keeping Johnson at bay and keeping him at length as well, to be honest, as well. Like Johnson hasn't really been able to get close. It's, to be honest, these conditions it's not really that ideal to get up close, and the McLaren is little bit aero sensitive, I believe, to say the least. And he's quite hard to get really on the gearbox of the car ahead. I can imagine it's not going too well there for Johnson. Kind of does need a mistake here from Joe. But braking very late, very late, and nearly must have gone very close to the back of the Porsche, and did manage to get things stopped. I don't know if it was just the camera angle and made it look a little bit worse than it was, but you know, it was a little bit unnerving from here.
Oh, I think it looked very spicy. My eyes were wide just then, but Johnson managing to get it pulled up there. But yeah, oy. Oh my. That's what I'm talking about. Johnson's just giving it absolutely everything. Getting so wide through Sunset there.
Does look good through these corners. I was going to say it's going wide. There's not really too much of an issue. Good line here from Spencer. I was going to say good line, but exit as well. And bad exit for both of them. The bounce here from the McLaren, but it doesn't anything come of it. Oh dear, as Luke Johnson let it look to the inside, but knew he kind of was too far back to really do anything of it. And now as he knows it's his chance, he's got Joe on the ropes a little bit as they come now down through Mineshaft into Crocodiles. See if anything can do anything. It's a little bit of a gap has formed naturally as they come down the straights. Spencer gets things stopped nicely for the apex, and Luke Johnson's just going to have to follow through so far.
It looked absolutely on a tow rope through 10 and 11 there, but Spencer again just breaking away ever so slightly, and we go around once more as they pass through anyway.
It's a good exit there from McLaren, but the Porsche has the get up and go and out of the corners with its Black 6 orientation, and yeah, it did look definitely closed in on the brakes to say the least. He didn't really find the apex, so I think he was a little bit on the heavy braking to say the least. Did see a penalty there for Chris Darf as compounded his 15-second penalty with an extra 10 seconds. And obviously it's going to be pretty disastrous. So Jaden Rondinella not looking to finish last so far. But we'll see.
Big W for Jaden Rondinella.
Yeah, big W. Big win there for that's a bit wider than normal though from Luke Johnson.
He's making it look fine though. It scares the pants off me. And it's fine. How's he doing that?
That's the thing is like the Porsche is still pretty good around there. The Porsche, like Joe, is not having to use all that space, and he's actually keeping the line tighter. And I think it means it's really not really benefiting on gaining too much from Luke Johnson.
I mean, there's something to be said about overdriving, you know, like you're sending it that far, it's literally more track to cover, and like your lines are going to be a little bit compromised, so I don't know. I mean, Luke Johnson, a much better driver than I, but he is struggling to get past Spencer, and Spencer's having that, he's pretty tidy right now. We've only seen that one sort of mistake through the S's there, really, since we've been
a big gap to the next car as well, so I'm not sure if he does get past. I think it'll be as high as he goes, so maybe not the top 5 I was predicting.
Yeah, definitely. Like, good call. He's close here though. Is he going to have a look down the inside this time?
He's having a look close. Maybe he'll duck out and look at the mirror in the top right. Nothing coming of it. He gets it stopped on the brakes nicely, but it does have to check up a little bit. That's the thing. It's so hard to follow someone in a different one. Joe's in a completely different car with different lines, different braking zones, and that's all kind of just exacerbated in the wet as well. Porsche makes its speed in very different ways. The McLaren will be good here through Sunset. The Porsche is still hanging on a decent job, and McLaren does wash out wide a bit too as well. It's kind of intriguing how these cars kind of ebb and flow. Go through the S's.
As we are on board with Luke Johnson, I actually wonder how many track limit warnings he's got going wide through there. I don't know.
You don't really get much warning through there. Like you have to go very wide for it to count. As Spencer, you kind of broke to the apex there. I'm surprised he felt the need to, whether that was just him trying to make the corner, but Luke Johnson was definitely not on going for a move there. Sorry to interrupt, Blake.
No, you're fine. These two still at it, still on the tow rope. Half a second, but no, I don't know if there'll be much to be said unless Zeri makes a mistake.
Just seeing the gap as these two cross the line. The gap between them and Matthew Lamb is ridiculous, to say the least.
Sizable. Get out of the thesaurus.
You'll see it as they cross this line now, and it's 28 seconds.
Oh my. Oh my.
Still not enough for a pit stop. Zeri has to defend. There's a good run from the Bentley through Sunset, and as they go into not barbecue, to the clubhouse. So I think maybe the Mustang's tires are kind of suffering a little bit. Not that the Bentley's the best thing on tires either. As I think, yes, Luke Johnson, it looks like he's gone ahead of Spenceley. And unfortunately, we've missed that. I'm sure we'll probably try and see what happens. But with 5 minutes to go, Luke Johnson is passed and up into P7. As Jeremy Zeri still fends off Benjamin Piper in the Bentley.
So, next target for Luke Johnson. Spence in 420 McLaren is 13 seconds away, but Spence is close to Kong, only 2 seconds between them. Maybe the dream is still alive.
Potentially. 14 seconds in probably about 3 or 4 laps.
It's so doable.
I think if you Matthew Lamb, it's doable.
Yeah, on the pace that Matthew Lamb's doing, maybe, but big respect to Luke, I don't know if it's actually happening.
Luke Piper would be wishing he's behind any other car that wasn't a Mustang, or wish it wasn't a GTR either, as he would be able to be eyed on for a good run into turn 2. As Jeremy gets it stopped nicely, and manages to defend just as well in the Mustang. So Benjamin gets a good run into barbecue and out as well, as Jeremy was a little bit sideways on the exit. We've seen that here up into Spenceley. So he went wide a little bit at turn 2, sorry. And he's gonna be a little bit off kilter for Sunset. And yes, Luke Johnson sends it up the inside of barbecue, knowing that the Porsche was a little bit offline, starting all the way from turn 2.
Yeah, there you go. So, Piper, 2.5 seconds back. Seeing Zeri looking a little bit wobbly in these closing stages of this race. Can Piper pile the pressure on and make something happen for himself here? Pick up P2. And the win in class for Silver.
That's a good run through Mineshaft and gets it nicely stopped for the corner. And Jeremy has to hold the inside line. That's all Jeremy really has to do, is kind of just plant the car where it needs to be planted. Fence to the inside again for Ingwe. Benjamin's going to try around the outside. He's got nothing else to really try, but he's going to have an overlap with the Mustang. But I think the Mustang's going to win this drag race, especially as he's going to have the inside line for turn 2 as well. But maybe if Benjamin is brave on the brakes or goes for a crisscross, we'll see if Jeremy gets this stopped. He does just about. It is good driving there from the Mustang driver. And Benjamin's just going to have to try and force more of an error, but it's a good crack from all around. Gotta try something. If you don't try, you'll never know.
It's always a shame you make that move and you get side by side and you look at the side of your car and you see a Mustang and you go, this isn't happening. Particularly me in my Lamborghini. It's not happening. But Piper doing his absolute best here. The gap is so small. Just keep that pressure on and see if you can make Jerry squirm, sorry.
Yeah, losing a fair amount of time now to Dylan McDowell in the Porsche, so he's gonna come along. But it's a bad run from Jeremy Zeri, and Benjamin goes to the outside, gets a little bit of a pinch on, but surely from the outside of the Luke Cup, there's not going to be much going on. He tries to run it around the outside. There is going to be a small overlapping. Hopefully he can get a traction down, but unfortunately he's going to lose out on that outside line to the Mustang. It was a really good effort as Jeremy did get a little bit wide there from the S's.
McDowell is absolutely in this fold now. He says,
absolutely.
I'm at the table. Can I have a meal, please, too? It's not. We've only got about 2 laps left, but it is absolutely not over. These 2 squabblingers put McDowell right in reach.
Yep. The leader, Matthew Lamb, only just going through the first sector. I think this will be the last lap for these 2. Coming now down into turn 2. So 777's gone off. That's Liam K. Oh dear.
Oh,
it's Dylan McDowell.
A bit late there. Very deep. That's not how you introduce yourself to the dinner party, if we continue that metaphor.
He's got to take him out of this fight somewhat. He's close enough if these guys do have a little bit of an error. This is where you got to pile on the aggression. Yeah, that Mustang's really struggling on its front as well. It's kind of not really getting turned too well. But Jeremy just knows he can hold the inside line and get it stopped. And that's all he needs to do is Matthew Lounge around through Crocodiles and into Cheetah. Yep, this will be the last lap. It's a good run from Benjamin Piper, but equally just as map from Zeri as well. And surely going to cover the inside line into Lukop as we come around the final corner of Ingwe is Matthew Lamb to absolutely dominate split yellow here at Kyalami. And we'll pay homage to him a little bit later on. But we're going to look to the battle for P2 coming now into Crocodiles from Mineshaft. Zeri covers the inside line as he needs to, and I think Benjamin Piper wasn't really ready for an attack from that far back either, so it's just going to be Cheetah and then Ingwe for these 2, these threes I should say. A little bit of a slower run there from the Ford Mustang driver, and just gonna, it's gonna be a procession formation for 2, 3 and 4 for Zeri, Benjamin Piper and Dylan McDowell. Give it as a good old battle there at the end.
Kong coming through in P5, followed by Spence in P6. Kong taking the Pro-Am win, and Luke Johnson up to P7 from the pit. It's a pretty valiant effort, if I do say so myself. He'll probably be a bit frustrated with that, but it's a good drive. Spencer coming through P8. For Corey coming down to the last corner. Ingwe, round we go. P9 for Corey.
Yep. We'll wait to see the top 10 will be closed out by Wesley Yap in the Porsche. It's been a bit of a hard-fought battle out there, I think, for P10 overall from Atanyake, Kidman, Lim K, and Marsh. They've all staked their claim somewhat. Unfortunate to lose people like Ben Winton there to P17, I should say. Atayake and Kidman cross the line, and that's it for Split Yellow. So we'll run through the results and hand things over. So overall, we've got Matthew Lamb, who obviously dominated, I think, by 36 seconds there. Overall, from Jeremy Zeri and Benjamin Piper. And then Silver Class be headed up by the aforementioned Zeri and Piper as well. The only 2 in the field, but they definitely did their strongest showings this season. Pro-Am, I believe, will be Brian Kong, followed by Spence. And I believe that will be Spenceley as well for Pro-Am. And then Am will be, I believe, Atanyake, Kranich. And then Ben Winton obviously rounds that off. So, lots of points on boards for everyone who attended this week, for sure.
So, I have to ask, who's the driver of the day, Cameron?
Hard to say, really. There's a lot of valiant efforts out there. There was, I think, I don't want to necessarily give it to Luke Johnson because he made the most positions, but I think he was also in the opportunity to give the most positions because it was kind of, as a little bit processional in places. But I'll give it to Wizzy Yao. He kind of fell back, got had that half spin, got spun around, I should say, really from Hayden Marsh, but managed to recover to a P10 position overall.
It's a great choice. I'm gonna have to give it to Matthew Lamb. It's maybe the safe choice, but he's having that Max Verstappen early 2020s effect where he's winning by so much you kind of can't pick him, but at some point it's like you have to give him his roses. So well done to Matthew Lamb. Great race from everyone tonight in Split Yellow.
Yep, and we'll round things up. Thank you, Blake, and we'll catch you for Split Blue, but obviously for next week here again at Split Yellow. But don't go anywhere. We'll have a short break now. We'll hand things over to the Split Green crew in just a few minutes. Ah, yes, the legendary intro.
We've got a special little intro coming through for the next split, so stick around, guys. It's something nice and fun that's been cooked up for you all.
Massive diving inside there, and they've really condensed. So far, so good. Dare I say it? Yeah, I did. 3 wides across the field. There is a car around at an absolute fucking car park. This is a fucking joke, and this is why I should never commentate OOR.
Safety car has been deployed. If you were wondering.
Evening, welcome, viewers, fellow broadcasters, enjoyers of motor racing. We're here for round 3 of the Simrigs Sprint Series for OOR for Split Green. My name's Connor Hind. I'm joined in the box again by Jamwise Holmes, and we will have the extraordinary comments of Larko Fluky Johnson joining us once he's put the jacks up on the car. How are you, Jam? And I reckon Jam has forgotten his push to talk. I reckon. So as we watch Liam Hamilton drive around in the Aston Martin, we're wet tonight for Kyalami, folks. So there definitely will be chaos, as we've seen by that wonderful new.
Okay.
There he is. There he is. How are you?
My bad. The actual mic was not actually connected by USB, so it's not wireless mic. I figured that out just now. I'm great, and I'm even better after watching that intro. Apologies, keep you hanging there.
I absolutely am going to put you and Fluky both in the tier of you guys seem to not be able to intro yourselves into the comms box.
Yeah, it's so
but
fair enough.
We have, so what are we at now? Round 4. It's wet. It's Kyalami. What are your thoughts?
Bellissimo. Absolutely awesome. Love it. Love the wet. And obviously, you know, Connor, like every other motorsport enjoyer, that this is probably the greatest track on planet Earth. So what could go wrong?
think I'd rather have a Woolies car park and a Hyundai i30N drifting around in the wet than drive this track in the wet. But anyway, we're here. We had a fancy new intro too. I'm surprised we got a fancy new intro for Kyalami and we haven't had a fancy intro like that for Bathurst. What are we doing? We need to pull the strings on that one. That's unacceptable. But we're on board with Liam Hamilton, 46.3, pace in the rain. Is that... I haven't drove here in the rain in quite some time. So is that on pace? Is that the pace to beat?
Yeah, I believe so. It's so hard to tell. Hopefully my mic sounds better there, Marshy. But it's hard to tell. I mean, it's just how much the track's draining. How busy is it? Is it dry? I think I heard someone done 45s, but again, it's getting that comparison here. It's really hard, but yeah, 46, really good.
Yeah, okay. So let's say the 45 to low 46 territory is where you're looking to be at for the kind of top steps of the grid. As we're separated by 3/10 between the top three of Hamilton, Weatherburn and McAdam in the wet. Hamilton's probably in a pretty good spot here, being in the Aston, I think. From what I've heard, it's pretty good in the rain. So I know the Mustang can be a bit hit or miss in the rain, but the Bentley, what's the Bentley like in the rain?
Bentley, I thought it was good. I thought that's how it got its name. Or was that Boatley because it just drives like a boat, or was it because it was good in the rain? I mean, this predates my racing experience, so.
I don't know. I've never really drove the Bentley, the Boatley. But now we're out of free practice. We're going into qualifying. Call it right here, right now, as they all filter out. Who's your pole sitter?
Hignett, all day long.
Hignett? No. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
That is wild. That is a wild
I
call.
want him to do so well. I want him to do so well because I know how much it'll bring you pain to see that Porsche on pole and Hignett doing it as well. So he has to do it tonight, and I think he knows he has to do this.
He's probably got an ace up his sleeve, considering it'd bring me great pain to see the Porsche on pole and Kyalami. It'd bring me... I'd nearly consider just quitting sim racing in general if I see that tonight. So stick around, folks. But yeah, we jump on board. Hignett's going around for his outlap. I will put... I'm undecided. I don't really want to go Keys or Hamilton, considering they've been all up the top all the time. So I'm going to go Hill for a smoky. Okay. And we've just had Luke Johnson join us in the comms box. Have you got your push to talk working, my friend?
I believe my push to talk is working. Evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Great. We're awesome, especially now that you got your mic working first try. So
exactly.
Because I it was my turn to mess that up tonight. So
it's got to be one of us.
Yeah. Who's your pick? Quali, go on.
Oh, who's my pick? Yeah. Hill in the Beamer.
Oh yes, get in there.
Okay.
Rolling it out there.
Incredible. Both of you going for Hill. Yeah, all right. I'm saying Hignett, it's his last night in the Porsche before he switches car. So he is, and we know he's submitted those changes a few times. So he's going to be out here to hopefully just master it one last time and say goodbye to that vehicle.
I think submitting his change a few times is a bit of an understatement there. He's willed that, as he goes for a sick drift through the sunset. He cannot wait to get out of that Porsche. And thanks, Race Control. Appreciate that. Thanks for the little shout out there. Split yellow, fun stuff. It's good fun out there.
So, I have a question for you blokes, right?
Sure.
What racetrack would you rather in ACC than Kyalami? And I'm going to say anything.
Yeah, pretty much. It is the worst kept secret that I loathe Kyalami. I think it's a very overrated piece of tarmac. To be honest, I do not enjoy it at all. I think I'd rather go break my knuckles on cheese grater than do another hour of Kyalami in the wet here. But
This can't stand. This just can't stand. there is no greater track, Connor. All right. If I was to pick any other track for this track, it'd be Kyalami, but I'd pick it 24 times. I'd have Kyalami for every single option on the grid. I'd have all the short circuit, all the variations. There's probably not many variations. Just looking at that go-kart track out there, I'd have that in the game.
Connor, what would you rather be doing, mate, than doing laps of a wet Kyalami?
Well, there's lots of things. I think I'd nearly rather drive a Porsche. I know that's big. That's massive. That's
We've
massive.
got a Porsche at Kyalami.
Oh, now you're pushing it. Now you're absolutely pushing the soul to the brink of just utter pain and contempt. As JC's saying in the chat that wet is the only saving grace for that, considering that JC is another also Kyalami unenthusiast. Good day, JC. How are you, baby? But I don't even think the wet saves it. It just
the wet doesn't save it.
Just get out of here. Look, give me even like the IKEA car park that's like a random back alley somewhere. You know, that's probably better than this. And I know that hurts Gam's soul.
No, what we need to do is we need to get both of you lads on a high protein diet. That's what's happened here. I think you're low on protein. We need to up that protein up, and you'll start seeing the beauties of Kyalami. Look at this place.
JC, the wet in Kyalami, I think saves it from maybe a hot lapping perspective, just because the wet's something a bit more challenging. But from a race perspective, mate, it was abysmal out there. It was not fun at all. You can't overtake. You can't get the run on anybody. You just sit there copying somebody else's spray in front for 20 minutes. It's abysmal.
Let's jump to the leaderboard, right? So sorry to put you off, Jam. Let's jump to the leaderboard, considering he's 2 Feet 2 Furious down in P4, 4/10 off. So we have Vintner in P1. Was that a 46.5 or a 46.7?
Yeah.
In P1. So yeah, Vintner.
That was a 46.5 in P1.
So Vintner's up the top there. We have McAdam in P2 and Weatherburn in P3. Thurkalini in P4. Get in there, son.
Yeah, in there, son. He's not even 10th in there. Look at it. That is a great top 5. This is looking to be spicy.
You just wait. Higner's winding up that rubber band. He's learning. He's learning out there. Trust. He's gonna lock it in. But yeah, really tight racing while qualifying out there at the moment. That's looking good. Looking promising.
Yeah, let's hope it's tight, close racing. I'll put a question out to the chat between McAdam, Weatherburn, Hamilton, and Keys. Who is gonna barbecue the chicken the best?
Oh.
Out of those 4, who would barbecue the chicken the best?
What are my options again?
So it was McAdam, Weatherburn.
McAdam, yeah. It's gonna be Weatherburn. It's gonna be Weatherburn. It's gonna be Weatherburn. I think Yoda here would be an excellent chicken roaster, to be honest. I think you just get the seasoning just right on it. It'd be the most juicy barbecue chicken you've ever tasted.
I'll throw one out there for McAdam, only because I've never spoken to the fella, but he's got good taste in watches on the side of his Bentley, so he must have good taste in food, right? I think that's how that works. I think those things connect.
You reckon he's sizzling as he's wearing the watch? Like, do you reckon a bit of splatters getting all over the face of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Slow-mo, 4K shots. Absolutely.
With a watch like that, he's out there going to Henny Penny and buying that chicken.
Henny Penny? No ways. He goes to Henny Penny with a Breitling watch on. Oh, yeah.
As we see, Hamilton has jumped up into P1 with a 46.3. He must have got his chicken from Henny Penny, because he is flying.
That is cooking. Yoda's
Absolute
up though.
cooking.
Yoda's up 4/10. He
Look at
might
this.
grab this. Now, I'm not
This
too
top
versed in
five
the
is
stand.
absolutely so good right now.
Is the stand good in the wet?
Well, from what I drove of it in the wet, I've only drove, where have I drove in the wet? Like a couple of tracks. I found it fine, pretty good once
Yeah,
you, like,
okay.
you know, you get used to it. Like, it will kick out, but, like, it's not like, it wasn't like Ferrari good in the wet out of the
Right.
cars I do drive, but, like, it was fine.
6/10 for McAdam just then while you were letting me know. I mean, here it is. A good taste in the watch is paying dividends. Look at that.
We're going to see a 45 in this server. That's nuts.
Here we go. Great exit. Oh, he's done
He's
it.
held on to it. He's held
done
it.
He's
He's
that's
done it.
45.
He's going to do it. Is it going to be?
Yes.
It's a 45.995. Would you absolutely look at that? What a cracker of a time.
Take a bow, McAdam. That is a good lap as we have Yoda is up and he'll jump to third with a 46.4. I wonder how much that, this next lap, I don't know if that, is he going to pull out? I don't know. Maybe he'll go
Yeah, he
kind
has
of back
to.
it off.
Yeah.
Back it off a bit for the next lap. But
Yeah, hopefully he's got some fuel in it because he doesn't really have enough time to go back to pits and put a new set on. So I think he's just going to cruise around this lap, build himself a bit of a distance, and see if he can go again for maybe another lap or two.
Hamilton gaining through the first corner. So I reckon Hamilton's got a bit more time in him too. I know he was doing low 46s in practice, so it'd be interesting to see how he kind of can over this next lap or so make up the distance between him and McAdam. It's only 3/10, so it's only like a couple of really good corner exits and bam, he's right there.
Definitely. What else is on the level? We've got Kyalami and Squires battling it out for P1 and P2 positions in their respective class. So it'll be interesting how that goes up. There's only 200s in that, so see how they go. Kyalami's
Love to see
doing
it.
great out there. So Squires.
Silver drivers, 3 silver drivers up in the top 10.
Absolutely.
There's just no way, like, Kyalami's doing a great job. Squires is doing a great job. Smith down there in P9, another silver, doing a great job. And then there's Mr. Hignett, the maker of bad decisions in P10.
Well, you'll
Hey,
be
we can-
happy to know that his decision is about to be a lot better. So his car after this is a Lamborghini, Connor. How good is that? Tell us your thoughts.
Another wrong choice.
I'm gonna have to really have a chat to him. A hard chat to him after
You
the
need to have
race.
a man-to-man with him, mate. Just sit him down and just... We need an intervention, just to correct him, get him back on the right path.
So let me guys just fill you in quickly, and I'll fill some of the wider OR members in as we're filling down in the qualifying here. This track gives me torment, simply because Ben left me for nearly 5 hours to do an enduro alone at this track that I hate. And he picks a Porsche, and he's going to go to a Lamborghini. He had the chance to rectify his mistakes, and he just won't.
Just refuses. Classic Ben Hignett style. Refuses to make the right choice. I think he does it to spite you now, Connor. I think it's just done on purpose. There's no way.
I think the Lambo is a great car, if I'm honest. It's
Anyway,
just not good
Jam's
on the straight.
opinion is wrong.
Yeah, you also
Where
like this
is
track,
Rashidi when
so...
you need him? Rashidi will tell us how good the Lambo is. So will
The
McNeil.
legend himself.
Someone get these people in the chat. Someone needs to stick up for the Lambo.
Rashidi is a loyalist. Hamilton lost it all on exit. I wonder if he's going to full send into these last couple of corners. I mean, like, depends. Where's Weatherburn on the track? Weatherburn's coming through Cheetah right now. So, and he's down. So he has to make up. How much has he got into? Oh, not quite enough. Nah, not enough. So he's got P2 and he's teetering. He's teetering. How does he attack Cheetah? He's slightly up. How does he attack the final corner? The flames are spitting. Oh, come on. Hold it, son. Hold it, son. Hold it. Oh, he's going to marginally improve. But McAdam, take a bow. You have won P1, I think. Oh, we have Vintner still on a lap. Vintner is up 2/10. Can he make up another couple of tenths through the pass?
He's up, he's up to,
Ooh.
what is this? This is
That
4
a good
tenths
game.
up. If he just absolutely nails his last set of corners, as the flames spit out the side as he downshifts, he's going to be 3.5 tenths up. This is going to push him up quite a few spots on the board, actually. He's into the second row. If he keeps it where he is, he's just going to lose a little bit of time on exit. He's going to jump up into P3.
Nice.
Just cutting out
Lap.
Tokolini. Is that
Lap.
Tokolini on the second row? What
Yes.
an absolute session from him.
That is awesome stuff. That is great to see. That livery alone from Vintner deserves to be on the front row. I love that livery. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely. As we hope nobody gets the kudos tings that I unfortunately received last split. Hopefully everybody makes it out onto the grid for the formation lap. But yeah, Connor, you and I, our prediction of Hill, he's down there in 9th. Not a bad effort. Barker making it into the top 10 with Mr. Hignett down into 11th, proving the wrongness of all his decision making. Keys down there in 23rd. He's looking to do a last to first challenge again by the looks of it. As we toddle down the grid in the pouring rain, checking out all these amazing OOR liveries.
I can already see it.
Oh my
I already have
god!
eyes locked on it.
Look away, Glenn. Don't let him
Look
see
at
it. Don't enable this behaviour.
Oh, look at look at that.
It's-
That Bentley's
it's-
really nice.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
really nice Bentley.
Crying, I have to this track crying and it goes over. Oh, the pain, boys, the pain. Kind of
Oh
That-
no!
that white GDR. That is a good livery. That one. So Key,
clean.
I wonder if is Key's doing another last to first strat here.
I think that's
have
it,
from Crispy Bacon in the chat. They have 4 grid penalties coming up, so instead of making chaos on the grid in the wet, we're going to convert them to 5-second pens during the race. So it'll be interesting to see who has the penalties. So we'll see those pop up, and then we can kind of go from there on where they will filter out and what not.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen anything come through from race control just yet. So, yep, yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out to see who has been impacted by that. Hopefully nobody near the top has caused any dramas. JC in the chat, Lucas qualified on dries with 0 TC and max fuel.
Interesting choices by Lucas. I would almost suggest that might be sandbagging, but I don't want to fully suggest it. You know?
Yeah, look, that might not be the optimal strategy for a quali session.
Right.
But we'll
okay.
see if he decides to do that in the race as well.
Hopefully not. I feel like that's just asking for carnage. Although maybe it'll make a second intro video like we got earlier on for the people in the background to cook up, you know, another car park maybe.
Potentially. We didn't have any safety car in split yellow, so I know Kyalami turn 1 is definitely a safety car breeder. Going from 1,000 lanes wide into turn 2, sorry, because apparently the kink counts as a corner.
It
By
does.
morons.
It's a corner.
It's
Has
not a
angle to it.
corner.
Imagine thinking a track is good and a kink counts as a corner. Like,
Listen,
Josh,
listen.
really? You're
No,
born
hold
from this
on,
land,
hold on.
Josh. Don't defend it.
It's not
Yeah,
even
actually, my uncle actually, no joke, lives like a K from this track. He watches from his little balcony and
Bad decisions by your uncle.
no, some of the best decisions.
It's
but
not even a
it is a
kick.
corner.
It's like a
It is a corner,
slightest of angle changes.
and I can explain why it's a corner. All right.
Oh yeah,
Because
please explain. Please explain.
there is a driver, and I love him dearly. His name is Luke D, or Jaden Rondinella, and he spun on a straight. So therefore, if it's a risk to go on a straight, you have to count all angular changes for every drive. because I mean it's a risk. There's calculated risks. I mean, we can count it. It's a kink. I mean, maybe calling that a corner is a kink. Am I right? No.
We don't kink shame here unless kink shaming is your kink. So
okay. All right.
I'll
Well,
kick
that's
shame
good.
Kyalami.
I will say it's worth noting that this season has been far cleaner in terms of penalties given out and driving incidents than last season, which is great to see. So it's worth, giving a big shout out to all the drivers out there this season and put in the effort and done some fairly respectable racing and keeping the stewards a little bit more bored, which is great.
And
Absolutely.
there we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
I've set us up
Manufacturing
for a
the car park.
Let's
Yep.
go.
let's go.
Looking-
Turn 2, turn 3.
Luke,
Yep.
take us away. You've got us, mate.
Take us away. We are coming round the final corner as they line up 2 by 2. We have McAdams and Hamilton on the front row, followed by Vinton and Turcolini. Weatherburn, Tafiq, row 3, Squires, Smith, Hill, Barker, make up your top 10. We are about to cross the line and we are about to go green. And it's a bit of a late start on this one, and they've gone green, and it looks like McAdams has got the run, but that V8 of the Aston of Hamilton keeping very much alongside the front two, getting a very good start. Bit of distance between them and the 2 cars behind. We're going to see Turcolini try and go around the outside of Vintner. Is he going to hold it? I think he will. Hamilton's going to have to slot in behind McAdams. It's a very, very clean start from all of split green at the moment as they've gone through 2 and 3. We go through turn 4 at the moment. We are just about single fire. There's a little side-by-side action from a couple of GTRs in the back. Lucas Key's already making up a few positions as we head down into Sunset. Very tricky corner in the wet. Very tricky corner. We go side-by-side. It looks like everybody has managed to keep it relatively... Oh, is that Bentley went very sideways through Sunset. We're going to have a little look-see here to see if Giacomin, who's already made up a couple of positions already, could get a little sniff in on Hill through the S's. Hill's a little bit compromised through the line, so Giacomin is going to get the run into the hairpin. He's going to go side by side up the hill. He's got the run. We'll see if Hill with the inside can defend it. He's going to break a little bit later as we see as Barker absolutely sends it up the inside and sends Giacomin right off. That's going to cost him a ton of positions. You hate to see as he touches the grass and comes back on, and he's absolutely murdered Sanakis in the George, in the Mustang. That is absolute murder. You hate to see that. That is really, really unfortunate. As we jump back up to the front runners, see Turcolini able to keep it in front of Weatherburn, but losing a little bit of ground from Vintner in front as they come around the final corner, and we still have McAdams out in front. And that is our first lap of Kyalami looking, it was going to be a very clean lap there until it all went a bit pear-shaped through the hairpin there as we see Mr. Hingnet's going to try and get a move done on Barker. These two have also never shared space on track before. He pushes him a little bit wide, Max Verstappen styles. They're going to go side by side. That's going to invite Armstrong into the throw here. He is going to see if he can make some advantage of Barker getting all twisted. There's a car sideways. That is another car sideways. There's 3 cars sideways on the straight there. I don't know what's going on. Turcolini all the way down in the lead. What has happened there is that McAdams, who is, though, it's Dylan Smith who is facing the wrong way. Giacomin is also facing the wrong way. I don't know what's going on. What has happened?
Hopefully we get some replays. If not, it's fair enough because there was a lot going on there. Really well done, Fluky. It started off really nicely and calmly, and then all of a sudden you had your money cut out for you. So yeah, wow.
Thought we were going to survive that. I'm going to have to go quickly take a breath.
Look, who hurt my Damiano? I will. Israel on board with the front of the pack. He hurt himself. We have information that he hurt himself. So Damiano, what are you doing, son? Oh. But
You hurt yourself and you hurt all of us up here at the comms box.
you hurt my heart, Damiano. My heart, man. as McAdam drops in the fastest lap with a 47.2. So McAdam is settling. Hamilton seems like he's settling. They're already 2 seconds ahead of Vintner, who Vintner and Weatherburn kind of are a little duo there, who are 2 seconds ahead of Tafiq. So it seems like the front of the pack's kind of settled a bit, but that mid to back pack is getting very squirrely as we watch Yoda on a replay. Oh no, this is going to be sad. This is the sad moment for Damiano. So he's dropped a spot there. He's gonna take the line. Oh no, no, Damiano, no. Oh, he's dipped a wheel in the wet. Oh, and that's where the sadness is. And he's been. Oh, there's not much you could. Oh no, there's chaos there in the back. That is.
You cry.
Dropping a wheel in the wet, it just always means it's pretty much it just takes you then and there, and then everyone else is a passenger. And Keys has 33 seconds of damage. Wow, wowee.
A lot is going on. Do you think this is this more wet than quali? Maybe is this caught? Do you know, Fluky? Was that the case? Was it a change? Was it a noteworthy change in the track?
No, it was basically the same. Yeah.
I wonder what's happened, because it seems like it's, like there's a lot of missed braking markers and stuff like that. So I was wondering if maybe the grip out there is a little bit lower than usual. And wow, yeah, that is not the fuel,
to be honest.
That's a sad GTR.
Ooh, that is a very sad GTR.
Oh wow!
I found that
fastest lap times never happens.
Look at that! Never happens in this game. Never happens. Yeah, so just to jump on that point, chucking, you basically, because there's no mandatory stop for this round, you're basically just chucking on the full hour's worth of fuel, and depending on the setup of the car, the balance of the car changes quite a bit. Oh, it's a bit rough. Look at that.
Wow.
So you do have to account for different braking markers as your tyres are cold and the tanks are full. So I think there'll be a few people who may have just gone into hot lap mode, might get a little caught up as you get caught up in slipstreams as well, and the aero wash, particularly of the car in front. As you get stuck behind the car, it's very, very hard to take the same lines. A lot of the braking markers around here are also a little blind with the car directly in front of you, so it's a little bit hard to anticipate exactly when you're hitting the brakes and turning in, and you don't want to obviously clean up the guy up in front of you. So there's plenty of things to consider in the wet around here that does catch a few people out if you're not quite on top of it.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at the timing board there, Hicknett's on an attack on Barker, by the way. Looks like so Barker must have got that spot back, and now they are battling away again.
I think as well, like touching on what was said before, like everyone, it's always the age of there's a bit going on. Vercolini regains a spot. Look out, he's on the charge again. That'd be a sad Porsche. That'd be a damaged Porsche. But no, going on before, I think as well, like lots of people try to have the age-old thing of like, oh, people are more careful in the wet. People are more controlled in the wet, like because they know that the conditions are not as good. So like people try to take kind of like the optimistic approach, but it just doesn't happen sometimes. Like you could have 4 or 5 drivers go, oh, I'm really good in the wet, I can make up spots instantly, and bam, it creates effects and run-ons where like incidents happen. So obviously people getting a little bit kind of folders and lapses in concentration, and bam, you have chaos.
Definitely. It looks, and also just out here, just look how many times these drivers are touching the painted stuff as well as those metal grills, and I know for a fact that paint and metal is not a high grip surface when rubber and moisture is on it, so pretty risky.
And I think these curbs are sketch.
Yeah.
I just want you to know,
why
Jam.
are you picking on these curbs in particular? Is it because it's Kyalami? Because it's the same paint. I'm telling you now, same paint.
Jam.
You go
It's
to
different.
Silverstone,
That's
same
Kyalami
paint.
paint. It's different.
Nah.
These curbs were brutal, dude. Seriously, I thought about touching them in a couple of the corners. I had the car fully kick out sideways. We're going to see Porsche on Porsche action here as Hignett tries to go around the outside Turcolini. How
Again?
good's this?
Jam, that
Yeah.
Kyalami South African paint is just fake paint. It's imitation paint. It
Oh
tries
my
to be
God.
it tries to be as good as the real thing, but it's just not. And you know why it's just not? Because it comes from the same country as the track located called Kyalami. So how about you get in the bed, right? So you jump aboard with Damiano Turcolini going through the kink.
They go through T1.
That is a corner. Just get out of here.
It's a corner.
So here is one of the 5-second penalties, John Rad, for infraction in qualifying. So I wonder if maybe Crispy Bacon could jump in a chat and just say why exactly those people did get what they did, if he has some time. But I'm imagining they probably help people up on valid laps, etc., etc.
Yeah, maybe paused.
Yeah, I would say so. Luca G. Coven, 313 also.
Oh, this is...
Oh,
Wow. That
how
was,
did they
pretty
both
impressive.
survive? That was brutal.
Turcolini would have had the grip if it was proper paint.
Oh my god. Ain't no way. That's
You
a
know it,
real
true.
yeah. That's high grip paint. We actually lace all of our paint with biltong and butterwurst. Make sure that it has a maximum grip. Trust my boat.
So I think we've seen our 4 drivers come through with 5 seconds. So it's J. Coman, Rad, Squires, and Barker. So obviously they all did the naughty in qualifying. As McAdam collapsed back at Hamilton with a 46.5. Thanks for coming. Got the Bentley singing. He's dropped out. He's jumped out to a second on Hamilton. So whether he's just edged the gap out or Hamilton's made a few mistakes or whatever. So we're definitely seeing them kind of extend Vintner off a little bit. So I reckon if they keep going that way, it might be a 2-horse race. But you never know in the wet as well. Like anything can change.
Definitely. I mean, they all they have to do is touch one of those metal grills for slightly too long and have too much steering angle, and be staring at a wall.
Yeah, for sure. And if Hignett here, who's absolutely been sniffing the rear of Turcolini's Porsche, if he even gets any closer, he's probably going to be in the passenger's seat telling Turcolini how to drive, I reckon.
Well, at this point, I think Turcolini's telling Hignett how to drive the Porsche at the moment. It's a masterclass in defence from Turcolini, keeping Mr. Ben Hignett at bay. I think, if anything, Ben's the one being schooled here.
And it looks like Turcolini also might be actually gaining on Barker and that pack as well. So maybe it might be worth for Ben just to continue taking lessons from Damiano until there's an actual moment there. But yeah, really, really impressive drive from Damiano here. And as it sits now, it's looking like he will get that P1 in silver, just with Squires in that 5 second if Squires cannot pull out a gap, although it is early days in the race.
We have 47.5 minutes to go, mate. Please don't curse my man any further.
I think it.
Yeah, Jam, leave
Connor,
him alone.
No, there's no way.
You
Connor
please
got
back
away with
off.
cursing. He cursed him like 3 times at Brands. All right, you weren't
Did
there.
he survive? Yeah, he did.
survived. He survived, but by sheer skill. So there's no reason why I cannot use the same MO to better my curses.
You have
Let me
a
just see.
Kyalami bias, so whatever you say tonight is just false. It's false. It's absolutely get out of here.
Fake news. Fake news. As we see, Mr. Barker in the 13 Ferrari received the first of the in-race penalties. He's received 10 seconds for that send on Giacomo earlier on in the race. We jump down to Mr. Lucas Keys, who I saw completed a pit stop earlier to repair that flappy bonnet. So that GTR is prim and proper, ready to put in some quick laps and hopefully can catch back up onto the pack. He's got, well, as we see, yeah, there we go, fastest lap, 146.4. That is mighty quick in race trim, but he has a long way to go to catch back up to that field. And Mr. Luca Giacomo with a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 1 is what we saw, where he managed to jump back onto the track and take out a couple of other drivers out of that hairpin after being sent on himself. So a couple of slaps on the wrists there from the stewards to a few figures out there. And we jump back on board with our boy Damiano. Still extending the gap there on Higden. He's managed to make up a few positions and will look to hold on to a couple more if he manages to stay on the back of Squires. Looking very strong in a bit of a damaged looking Porsche there.
Barker must have had a moment because he's now behind both Higden and Thurcolini, and I thought, if my eyes deceived me, I'm pretty sure Thurcolini was actually chasing down Barker, and also Hamilton is now under a second, so he's got some pace in that car, and I'm pretty sure I stole those words right out of your mouth, Connor, so apologies.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I was about to say, Hamilton is closing the gap to Mr. Barbecue Man himself, McAdam. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of get into a little battle. They're also gaining more and more. They've gained nearly a second on Vintner as well. So they're kind of just establishing kind of like who's who in the race right now.
It's also worth noting, I noticed you're saying barbecue in the land of the Bri, so it might be, you know, probably want to say Bri instead, isn't it?
No. No, I will not. Did you see?
Good.
Did you see
The
how?
superior form of cooking, what I'm saying.
Look, nothing is superior when a track like this exists. Do you know? Okay, Jam, I'll give you this, right? I'll give you this, right? There's one track worse than this track, right? So this track, I'd rather go to my local railroad, my rail yard, and drive a train. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like driving. That's what it feels like driving around here, right? That's what it feels like driving around here.
Yeah, I know the track that you're about to say, and I agree.
Yeah,
Trains are fun.
good.
It's
Trains are fun.
bendy. It's bendy, isn't it?
Oh, Indianapolis, get in the bin.
Yeah. Trash.
Indy's actually pretty trash, yeah. I definitely agree with you on that one. I think Indy is probably the worst track in the game.
Yeah.
Followed closely by
Without a
this
doubt.
one.
Absolutely.
You know
not.
what? Do you
Does
know?
anybody here, does anybody in chat actually like Indy as a track? Please tell me, because I've yet to come across somebody who's like, yep, Indy's my favourite track. I freaking love it.
Do you know what
Favorite
makes?
would be a stretch.
Do you know what this makes? What makes this better is Brett Palmer in the Porsche around the outside. Look at that flying
Absolutely.
corner.
You'll
Look at
love
it.
to see it.
Oh.
You should be ashamed, Glenn. Ashamed.
around
You always
there,
just
son.
pipe this man up when he sees this thing. It's just outrageous.
Just look at it.
I mean, Palmer does deserve to be on the street without a doubt, but maybe we're gonna have to switch. Maybe we'll do a split red or something, so Connor can just avoid an aneurysm every time he sees it.
Oh, and look, he's going to go down the inside.
Look at this.
Look out. That hawk is flying. Get out the coals.
Oh, he's going to get it before the corner. Look at this. Palmer is on an absolute run at the moment.
That hawk adds an extra, 20 horsepower to that car. To an already decimated car, and the hawk is just carrying it. It's just all hawk. That's all it is. The wings are flapping. It's moving. The paint doesn't even worry him. The fake paint doesn't worry because the Hawk's flying. It just glides over him.
Yep. Don't need to worry about the track when you're flying as high as Palmer is at the moment. I reckon Barker better be careful of himself because that Hawk is coming.
Just as they pass through here, T1.
Mitchell was having to defend from Pasca Armstrong into T1. As they pass through T1, yeah, just get out.
That was T2.
Get out of it. Yeah, you like this track and just say, nah, get out of it. Get out. So Hamilton's dropped off to over a second as well. So, or just over a second. So obviously somewhere along the line he's had a moment. They're still gaining. They're now 3.5 seconds above Vintner. So I wonder
I
if
think they're
he's
just
tried...
trading mistakes with one another, like little micro mistakes is what I'm thinking is going out there. But they're definitely, it's going to be a game of chess for those two tonight. See how it goes. Did Hamilton get a second win, or would this be his second?
This would be his second win.
Oh, this would be good. And what a great track to win at, might I add. Absolutely awesome.
No matter. So this is my first win track and my most winning track, and I loathe it. I would trade all my wins here for anything in the world, in the entire world.
Mate, well, I don't know. I think 3 wins here, or what an achievement. You should be absolutely proud of yourself because it's probably the most famous track to win at, and people really do think about you as a great driver when you win here because it means a lot.
Grow up.
I'm trying to compliment you here, man.
Nah, grow up.
I
won't take a compliment around here. As Squires gets a bit squirrely out of T1. And Fercolini's ready to pounce. He's all over Vegas. Hinged in the background just decides it's deja vu initial D, baby.
I was going to say, the Eurobeat is blasting in the cabin of that car based on the move that I've just seen there.
Oh, Damian might have him here. Does he do the over-under? Does he get it done? No.
Damian is searching though. He smells blood in the water. He's ready to pounce. He's like, he's lapping up all them tears of that Mustang, being like, oh, yum 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 yum. He's like a Hoover. He's ready to pounce, baby. But do you know who's quietly having a good race? And that is Hill. Hill's up 3 or 4 spots quietly. Like, he's not setting the world ablaze, but he's just sitting there in P6. He's not in a battle with anyone. He's just chilling, moving up the grid. So you could have a couple of those guys like him and Tafiq who just kind of move up a little bit more when people make mistakes around. As wide.
Ooh. Well, I mean, yeah, looking at the deltas for the top, 10 at the moment, other than Barker, who's 5 seconds behind this little battle pack here, the differences between the top runners is not huge. You've got Hamilton down to 2 seconds behind McAdams. Vintner only 3.5 behind him, a second of Weatherburn. The peak dropping off, he looks like he's made a mistake relatively recently because he wasn't that far off Weatherburn a second ago. All it takes is one little mistake and it's very, very easy to do in an hour's worth of wet running on a course that's bumpy and curby and all sorts of RNG like this one. So all it takes is just one little minor mistake and you go off track and you're going to have the person behind you right in your space. So there's more deja vu happening back in this car.
It looks like he's gaining, though.
Is going off. He's realised it's the only way to drive it. He's set up that car for maximum attack angle. But all it takes.
He's cooking. The barbecue grease is hanging out the back. He's sliding. He's going around. look,
Turkley thinks about making a move down here. Looks as if he's going to send it down the inside. He's thinking about it. Squires has gone a little bit wide. There's going to be a little bit of a nose in there. We're going to see if Turkley can keep it around the inside. He is just going to keep it behind Squires, but Squires under a lot of pressure here from the two Porsches behind him.
I think that was good move from Squires there. Just to take, I think he took that wide angle on purpose, just in case Damiano had missed or overcooked the brakes there, because I think that's a very easy place to find yourself pit maneuvered when someone's trying to line up a move and then they just touch that inside. Oh wow, Ben just having a huge moment there in the background again.
It's all that barbecue juice hanging out the back.
Wow. But
Right,
yeah,
we're going to need a super edit with some Eurobeat over the top of his race later on, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully he's got the round wheel out for this. He's got his handbrake going as well.
Kyalami is going to have a look into the proper T1. Hold it around there. No, son.
Oh, no!
Oh.
Oh, how has Squires survived that? That is an excellent bit of car control from him, from a racer who was complaining about the wet only a couple of seasons ago. He's managed to really hold on to the car there as there was the slightest of ACC bumps, and it's the deja vu's back. That's rough. He's managed to keep it. That's good car control as well. I can tell you right now that it looks wet out there. It is much wetter in the car. You can tell that it is absolutely soaked out there at the moment. It is absolutely pissing down with rain. As we go back for a replay on board, Mr. Benjamin Hook. He's been cheated. He's hit the curb on the inside. We've all been there. We just see he's managed to recover that position back and see if Turkley can get back onto this little battle pack as Squires defends for his life.
Well, we know he's got the pace for it. He's shown that he's got the pace to be battling with these two here tonight, so he's going to want to catch back up. I think he lost that position just due to himself. He was yielding and being a good sportsman after giving Squires a little kiss. So, great on him.
Little kiss? Yeah, no, he definitely backed off there. He's a gentleman racer, and there was no ill content in that move whatsoever. It was just a little bit of ACC things where the slightest of bumps can cause cars to react quite violently. So he yielded a little bit, and that allowed Ben to pop back up into this battle. But as you said, he's got the pace to hang on, so not much lost. We've still got more than half this race to go, so he's just got to knuckle down and see if he can get onto the back of this battle pack.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be a different challenge for Squires to defend someone like Ben, because Damiano, he's absolutely great racer, but he's very polite, so he'll be overly cautious in certain moves where you can see here Ben's already pretty much touching bumpers, just a little bit more aggro. Not saying that Ben's a dirty driver, but it's just definitely got that pro mentality of I'm here, and you have to do something about it.
He's filthy. Ben's filthy. He's filthiest driver.
I feel like that this is the weakest version of Ben because he picked the Porsche. It's kind of like anime scaling in a way, right? Like full powered up Ben is like in a Ferrari 100%, like he's ready to decimate the world. This is like a weak Form 1 Ben, where he's in the Porsche and he doesn't know what to do, and he's firing his first baby Kamehameha wave,
I was gonna say he's got weighted training clothes on at the moment. He's got weighted cuffs on, weighted boots.
And the final form is most definitely the Lamborghini, and you both know that's true.
Get out, just get
10
out.
cylinders. There is no replacement for displacement. Everyone knows it's the basis for racing.
Hold on. What happens to the Lambo when it shifts to 6th?
We don't have to talk about that. We just have to talk
Actually
about
goes
first
backwards, I'm pretty sure.
We have to talk about 0 kilometers to 220 kilometers. It's a goal.
What happens? Go on, Jam. Spit it out. What happens when it shifts to 6th?
I don't know.
Come on, mate. Come on.
I've never witnessed it.
You know. You felt it.
No comment.
It actually goes backwards, I'm pretty sure.
pretty sure it hits reverse gear. There's actually no seek needed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that actually makes sense now.
As we
Wow,
see
Keys
Keys
is
popping in
flying.
another fastest lap with a 46.1. So yeah, Keys is flying, but whether like he had to serve the stop plus, like it'll be interesting to see how far he gets up the grid. Because I think he can nab off.
Yeah.
I think he
he's
can nab
attached
off
himself
a
to
few
that.
spots, but whether he can get towards the top 10, I don't know. Because that back top 10 is that back 10 from like 11th to 20th is like quite evenly spaced out.
Yeah, and they're not slow either, but in the wet here, it's so hard to get past people. You just get off a little bit offline and there's no way of making a move. And it's very easy to defend here, so he'll be coming up with a lot of uphill battles if he's going to try and make his way up the order.
Looks like Squires is the cork in the bottle here. The cars lining up. And
Mate. Jesus,
not
buddy.
losing too much time after doing that somehow.
I wonder if Ben will put in the mid-race car swap. Like, see if he can go in and do a pit swap to a different car.
No, I think you'd love that right about now.
Yeah, he would be absolutely wishing that. And he has. Mr. Damiano is getting on the back of the two battling cars here, so I think he's just got to be patient, to be honest. I think if, as we see Ben go very wide, he's going to make the move stick, and there it is. That's a commentator's blessing, isn't it? I didn't curse him then, I just told him he had to be patient, and Ben just gives him the space, so we'll give that a little blessing. I'll take that.
Floki out here, give him blessings.
If you see in the background, there's a certain vehicular livery that's gonna tack onto the back of this.
Oh no! He's gonna steamroll. Look at him go.
He'll be like, "What's a curve? I just fly over the hawk, bro. I just fly over." But if you look towards the top of the grid, so McAdam has pulled 3 seconds on Hamilton. So McAdam is stamping his authority on the. So McAdam literally is quite a bit off the ultimate max pace of the race. But I wonder if he's just ticking in good like 85% laps, just lap after lap after lap, and there's just like no mistakes. It's just consistency and just lapping.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to downplay his pace too much, because I think Keys is the only one who's lapping faster than him at the moment.
Yeah, and I think he had the ultimate pace over Hamilton, because it looks like they matched their purples, and then McAdam responded with a few tenths more on the thing. So he's definitely got pace in the car, but overall, I like coming off the back of some of the other races, he's definitely not been in that front running spot, although he did win the opening race of the season, I believe. So this is going to be healthy for the points for McAdam into this, and he'll want to hold on to this with everything he's got. Just because I don't believe he's had any bad races so far this season, but if you want to build up a championship, you pretty much need podiums and wins every single race against some of these drivers. So this is greatly needed by McAdam tonight.
It's just consistency. At the end of the day, it's just consistently being in the high point scoring positions. Like, you can have championship charges. Like, I think Keys did it a couple of seasons ago in red, where he either won only one race or didn't win a single race, but he was just second or fourth pretty much every race without fail.
Yeah.
So, like, to just be there in the high point scoring positions, and your lowest bad race could be like fourth, is where like most of your championship charges come from.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, I kissed my championship charge away, I think, tonight after being kudos for a second week in a row. So that's all it takes. You've only got one drop round, and it's only a short season this season. 6 races plus 1 drop round, so it gives you 5 good races. It's not a lot in it, that's for sure.
Did Percolini get past Squires?
He did. He definitely did, but then Squires wants the inside.
absolutely love to see it.
You defend like a lion, Damiano. You defend like an absolute lion, son.
Where did he start? Was that he started second row? No,
He did.
No, he didn't. He did?
He did. Yeah. No, he started
Okay.
fourth, I'm pretty sure.
and then had that
Was it
big
third or
moment,
fourth?
and now yeah, fourth I think, and then he had that big moment, and he's climbed here, which so great, really. Another great drive, regardless of the mistake. He's put his head down and just carried on lapping. And he bends on Squires now as well. He's got the outside for this next corner, and it looks like he might have made that sick. Oh, he's gonna have to touch the. Oh my! Squires having to check up there. But yeah, I mean, he's got that move done. So Squires is now starting to hemorrhage some of these positions. We did see that he was a bit of a cork of the bottle there, so maybe a bit uncomfortable in the rain at the moment. Maybe the Mustang's not feeling so great. And the infamous Hawk Porsche that Connor loves so dearly is approaching.
Just look at that. Look at that.
Where's
Squires
the
now
Jaws
as well.
theme? You need to play the
Oh my
Jaws theme.
God.
Just like, da-dum, da-dum. Because Palmer is cooking. Look at him go.
Squires is gonna need a bigger boat, gentlemen. Squires is gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, look, I'd say if it was roughly about this time in...
Oh.
See, you just cursed him.
Sadness.
that's-
Sadness.
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 It is about this time that in my race that I felt like the tyres started to go off just a little bit. You start copying those long understeers and the little kicks of oversteer as you start to wear through your wet tyres. So there'd be a few setups out there, I imagine, where a couple of the drivers will be starting to feel the same, starting to feel like their brake markers from before don't quite pull up like they used to. So we might see a couple of little mistakes, as we've seen. Palmer losing it just a little bit through Cheetah. We've seen Squires lose a little bit of pace as well. So yeah, you've just got to manage it, and they do kind of come back around the 20 to 15 minute mark. So you kind of just got to hold on for a little bit, try and just get them back into the window, and don't lose focus, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Agree with that. I mean, it is different cars will have those phases, but it's just, I guess, especially if you know your vehicle and you know when to kind of expect it. I mean, those brand loyalists will know every single bit of their car, and one of those that come to mind is Palmer of recent times. Just sharing the shot, he's been in that Porsche for a decent while now, enough to know everything he needs to know about it. So stuff like that will give him the upper hand against maybe someone like Ben, who is going through some of these things for the first time and getting caught out by them. So definitely something to keep an eye on, and maybe something worth noting in terms of advantage against their competitors out there.
Yep, absolutely. As we see another brand loyalist, Turkey here, defending like a lion against Benjamin Higdon, showing him how to do it in the Porsche. It's just been a great effort from him. As we were talking before, he did start fourth on the grid. Well-deserved second row for him. Just putting in the time, putting in the effort into the Porsche is paying dividends for him, showing excellent pace, but also showing excellent racecraft as well, which is starting to become really, really comfortable with the car that you're driving. You do just get that sixth sense for it, and just makes that wheel-to-wheel racing just that little bit easier, as we see Ben just all over the road at the moment. He's a Porsche loyalist, and I say will never become one, especially after tonight's race. But it's just a really great showing from all the drivers at the moment. They are tough conditions out there. Kyalami is an interesting track enough as it is to go around on the railroads, but you throw a bit of water on the mix, and takes everyone out for a bit of a tizzy. So it's been a great effort from most of the drivers, keeping it very, very clean, very easy to get caught up. We haven't seen too many penalties. We've seen a couple of penalties come through, or a few incidents towards the start of the race, but we haven't seen anything too crazy later on. So the racing's been clean. And jam-wise, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, it's been a lot cleaner than some previous seasons that we've seen relatively recently. So really props to all the drivers to really just focus on their racecraft and put on a good performance.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think it's really good to see, and it's good to see like some of the new faces from last season as well. They're way more comfortable out there now lapping. Some of them are doing really well in their respective classes. So it's just good to see just the development of our academy drivers coming through the sprint seasons, and that's another time just for any academy driver that's out there who watches these or wonders, I wonder where I'd place. Don't be afraid to go ahead and just sign up to sprints the following season. There's always someone to race, and it makes for some pretty awesome moments there, especially when you get to learn your competitors and have some points on the boards. I know it's just gaming points, but it's competition, and I think as drivers, most of us do this for competition. So it's always good to see what you can do and how you can better your next drive.
I think touching on that as well, like nothing makes your awareness kind of high and on alert and better than mid-pack and sprints. Like mid-pack and sprints taught me more of how to be a safe, aware driver than front of pack or back of pack, and that's because like you have cars around you on all sides, and you have different driving styles around you all the time, and like there's no like room, so you don't have the breathing room, so you either have to react and adapt or you sit in a way. So it kind of teaches you that on-flight moment of being like, oh, well, like I need to do this with these people around me, or else, like, my race is going to go up in smoke.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think it's also, it allows you also to build up some resilience, like mid-pack drivers have to be some of the most resilient drivers, especially those who are consistently mid-pack. It is sometimes ruthless in there, but it makes for great racing, and it does do exactly that from what you were saying in terms of awareness and in car placement and stuff. It can help you out. So, but it also I would also encourage people to like not be put off, by those moments. A lot of those moments, and it sounds so cheesy, but a lot of those moments when they do happen, they are learning moments for you and the other driver. If something does happen, very little on track will be done on purpose, so don't view it as such. Don't view it as a personal attack, but just rather view it as an opportunity for you to learn for the next time, and now you also know certain, how that person's driving personality is, like what they're prone to doing, or what kind of line they like to take when they attack and stuff. So it's always intriguing, it makes this whole sim racing sport way more fun than just, I don't know, just lapping on a pixel game, it's having those other human competitors out there and trying to figure out their psyche while you're out there trying to compete.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, and like it's just, as you said, it's like the human aspect, right? It's much more invigorating to have the human-to-human racing, and to have someone else who like is also, I guess, in a way, a flawed driver, because like everyone can make mistakes, whereas like the AI is like coded a certain way. So like to have someone who can make just as much a mistake as you, seeing them try to wheel the car at the exact same pace as you, or faster or slower or whatever, it makes it more interesting and more invigorating to then battle that person. And also another aspect as well is seeing, like, so when you start sprints, seeing people around your pace and seeing if they improve or not, or see if they drop off, or see if they stay the same. Like just kind of creating those interpersonal battles with other people around you in a way. Like, oh, I'm next to such and such driver. I wonder where in a season's time or at the end of the season, where pace-wise I'll be with that person.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agreed, and I think it's a great great also opportunity to make some networks in the sim racing community. You know, coming out here, you might be able to race with some of these drivers and get to know them on a little bit more personal level, and maybe make some friends. Although tonight, I think I've made 2 enemies out of you two for the slander that you've given Kyalami, but
You're absolute slander. Absolute slander. But I will absolutely agree with you on the points that you've made there in terms of the sim racing community, and it's that's what I like about, in particular, having some longer seasons as well, as you get to create that story as the season progresses, as you develop rivalries with drivers that you find yourself on track with in multiple races in a row. And it's, for me, like, it's part of that story that helps me push myself forward to become better, to improve. I mean, your biggest competitor is always going to be yourself. You'll always want to improve, but watching people that you've gone wheel to wheel with on track improve pushes you to improve as well. And before you know it, you might have been fighting together for 21st, 20th, or 14th and 15th, and before you know it, you're fighting together on track for 4th and 5th. And it's those stories within a season, and then, as you said, over multiple seasons, with a lot of people who race multiple seasons across their time here at OOR and whatnot, that really does keep bringing me back personally. It's that story that you create with other races.
Yeah, definitely agreed. And here we can see a little bit of story building up between Squires, Barker, and Palmer. They've been going at it the whole race pretty much, almost, and trading spaces. So, and maybe next race they do this again. They'll get to know each other really well, almost as well as, let's say, Ben Hignett and Giacomo, who've never been on track together.
Never been on track together, so there's no story there. They haven't created a story yet. They've never been on track, so there's no story, so it's fine.
Their story is to be told.
Definitely. But Hamilton's catching up again, it looks like. So he might have found some pace, but he needs to keep this up for the next 14 minutes if he wants any chance.
I hope that these guys here in this pack are so close to each other and get each other to know, like, so much about each other, that they know the cologne that they wear. They know obviously we know what tools Barker uses, but like, what tools does Palmer use in the Porsche, as he has a look? But like, just getting to know them. And also, it's then the things of like, like, a lot of people, if they've had a battle with someone, will DM them afterwards, like, kind of thing, and then you get to know that person on the personal level, where the communication and the kind of community aspect comes into it, of where, like, you then form rivalry, friendship out of it.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Maybe from this, a team will be born, and they will sign up to the Nords 12 hour for the 30th of November. Shameless
plug. Nords 12 hour. Nords 12 hour. Get on it. There's still some days left of qualifying to do. There's still spots up for grabs in terms of signing up. It'll be a fun race, fun day. Everyone sign up, get amongst it.
It's going to be a top day. It's going to be a great race.
Yeah, it's good. Qualifying is absolutely not painful. I guarantee you.
You loved it. You loved it. I know you loved it. I know you loved grinding those hours out. I know you. You definitely. You sat there. You were just you.
He's not done yet. Don't you worry.
I say I'm done. I'm done.
You love it. You love it. You love it too much. But how good is this battle pack? 5 cars here, all fighting to just stay in that top 10
with 3 different classes as well. So this is all. This means different. Bishop and Pascal Armstrong here. This means a bit in terms of. Oh no, what am I looking at here? That's a blue flag, is it, behind that Mustang? That's not a Bentley. Pascal's 6 seconds back, damn it. But still, 3 different classes, nonetheless.
you got to think too. So Barker and Squires both have that is wild 3 wide in the wet.
3 wide in the
Huge.
wet in the sunset, and there's a bit of a moment. What is this? This is incredible.
You got to think Barker and Squires, who are kind of being corks in the bottle at the moment, both have penalties. So them just being only slightly in front in this battle pack, they're going to drop to the back of the pack. So realistically,
absolutely.
Palmer in the Porsche is the leader of this pack. So with Bishop behind, and that is a blue flag. Yeah, that's a blue flag behind. So this battle of 4 cars is between Palmer and Bishop for P9.
Yeah,
Nice.
Palmer's probably a little bit frustrated at the fact that the 2 cars in front of him do have penalties, but they've got the track position and they're as that Mustang goes hot into the crocodiles. You saw a little kick out of the rear there as he hit the brakes of Bishop. Yeah, being a little bit of a cork in the bottle there. It's I bet you Palmer's feeling all sorts of frustrated at the moment, looking at Higdon ahead, who he was right on the back of not that long ago, watching it kind of slip away.
Yeah, and I think that blue flag that we saw was actually Jeff Beaton, and that McLaren is looking fairly damaged. So it must have been a moment for him to drop back and become a bit of a moving roadblock there for them to navigate. But yeah, very unhappy looking McLaren. One would say he must have strayed off the beaten path.
Well, it's Kyalami, the whole thing's beaten, so like whatever.
That is. No. You can't. You just can't.
Oh God. I'm sorry. That was terrible by me. But I had to. I couldn't help myself.
So let me get this right. You're born in South Africa.
Oh my God.
It's just
your major racetrack is this abomination. Turn 1 is a kink.
Absolutely,
and
it
you
is.
throw that absolute smoke bomb of a joke out there. Get out. And you have watered down crappy paint.
It's real pain. But
Get out of here. Get out of here.
But we have 2 battles right now. As much as I want to discuss how good South African paint is, because it is probably the best, Bintner is chasing down Weatherburn for P3, and Hamilton is now under a second away from P1. So we have 2 very important positions here with 9 minutes to go up for contention. As Vintner takes a very alternative line.
There's a warning.
yeah.
That's a speed token. There's no way that's not a speed token.
Yeah, the
I'll take
Astons
one.
have just...
Yes, please.
Yes, please, Ching. Yeah, these Astons have just had a breath of second life put back into them, haven't they? Look, we've got Liam Hamilton right up the back of McAdam, and Vintner in another Aston right up the back of Weatherburn. So the Aston cheat codes are on. This has absolutely turned into battle for the lead and for the remaining steps of the podium. So with only 8.5 minutes to go, this is really starting to fire up as McAdams sideways through Cheetah. You'll have to see it.
Is the Aston tyre life just better than the Bentley and the Mustang?
I believe so. I believe Aston tyre life is pretty amazing. That's what I've heard. But yeah. And I think that must be something to do with that TC2 stopping a fair amount of lateral movement. Yeah.
As a McLaren driver, what's TC2?
Who knows? I don't know.
Does it exist?
I mean, I tried using TC2 on the Mustang, and I couldn't get used to it, so I just turned that right off.
You get out of there.
You
get out of that.
I'm sorry.
You say some silly things. You say some silly things.
It's just been a night of silly things from him to,
What?
tonight. Really,
He's pure bias. Like he owns the show because his track got a fancy new intro about Star Wars and stuff like that. Get out of it. Get out.
Just because it's going grade
Glenn
1
has
and looking
good
to be
taste.
included in the Formula 1 and whatever.
And you know,
Imagine trying to race a Formula 1 car here. Ugh.
One of the main reasons people want to come here is because of the food as well. You get fed the best at this track location.
Do we get fed in ACC though? No, I don't think so. So that's why the track's still garbage.
But
Mate, when Formula 1 comes back here, Monaco is going to be more interesting. Oh, as we see Hamilton a bit late on the brakes, they're having to deviate.
Vintner's now 2/10 off, as well as Hamilton's 3/10 off. So these Astons are truly have woken up right at the end, but they need to wake up a little bit more if they want to get those positions away from both quite big vehicles, actually, a Bentley and a Ford, not the smallest things to sit there and pass, and neither are they the slowest out of a corner and on the straight. So it's time for the Astons to see if they have what it takes to pass a British Mustang and an American Mustang.
Look, you're right, but yeah, I don't know. And it did still point, so 6 minutes left in the race. I know they've still got like a little bit of time, but if you're say Vintner, are you being uber aggressive or are you being safe? And if you're Hamilton, I'd be more aggressive if I was Hamilton, if I'm honest, because you're going for the race win. Like it's you don't know if you're gonna win or if you're gonna send it until you actually try.
The funny thing is with this situation that we're in now is both have almost not an equal, but both have a substantial jump in points. From P4 to P3, you experience a more than usual jump in points from, let's say, 5 to 4, and same for 2 to 1. So there is definitely merit in trying to get that P3 position for Vintner here, because it will give him a decent jump, more than a normal position would have got him out there outside of the podium spot. So it might be worth for him to be aggressive here. If I was him, I would be aggressive, because I don't know, I think, you know, getting in that top 3 is a great achievement, and he's so close to it here, and I'm not too sure if he's had a top 3 this season yet. I think he might have had one.
I'm unsure. He might have.
But yes, but if not, he is so close. This has to be. This is teasing him.
No, get out of it! You take that down, race control.
Yeah, Mr. Palmer, send your curse into Connor Hyde, Crows Nest, New South Wales, Lockbag 9999, for your invoice on that one. Because Connor, that's all yours, mate. That was your curse for that. I don't know if we saw that incident on stream, but we've just seen here that Mr. Palmer's now got past Squires, but he's going to cop the larger of the penalties. So Squires might have just thought, you know what, you go, see if you can get more than 5 seconds up the road, because with only a couple of laps to go, he might just keep that position.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we're still riding on board with Weatherburn and Vintner, and this is tight, and Hamilton has gained yet another 7-8 tenths and is back to within 2 at the exact same time.
Right on the back of him. Those Astons are so strong through sector 2.
You've just gotta, you don't know until you try, so you've just gotta send it and hope that something happens.
Oh, it's so hard though. It is so hard. Like I did find that as soon as you got within 3/10 of the car in front, you just started losing all your pace. It was just so hard to keep up. So the fact that these guys have been right behind each other for so long now is a testament to their skill. But we've got to see if Hamilton can make any sort of move stick, and whether McAdams can hold his nerve just a little bit longer. Only, let's say, 2 more laps laps to go. He's just got to hold it together just a little bit longer. Hopefully, not get held up by any of these blue flags, and just keep it pointing forwards.
Definitely. So going back to that points discussion there, so a jump from P4 to P3 is 15 points gained, whereas normally for, let's say, 5 to 4 is a 5-point gain. So you're tripling your points there for that position, whereas jump from P2 to P1 is a 20-point gain. So definitely worth, I believe it's I'll just double check that. I'm pretty sure it's a 20-point gain there for P1. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth for Vintner to go out there and try and get that P3. In terms of overall standings here, we'll quickly look at it, as Lucas Keys in P1, Liam Hamilton in P2, and John McAdam in P3. So, and they're all separated by 18 points. So there's definitely this battle here between Hamilton and McAdam is enough to narrow that gap down substantially. I think it'll be actually enough to switch McAdam and Hamilton around, and I'm not too sure what'll happen to Keys after this. He'll probably drop below them, so this battle here could determine who takes the current lead for the championship. So pretty interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think Keys will drop down as we see McAdam and Hamilton going through the kink, not T1. Hamilton's just going to tuck in behind, so we have a minute. So we have what? This will be the last lap.
This will be the final lap.
So Hamilton has to get it done. Vintner has to get it done. The two charging Astons. There'd be some sweaty blokes in those Bentleys and Fords. I reckon they'll be sweating it out. They'll be there's puckered cheeks, there's clenched cheeks. Look out as we have Hamilton's just going to sit behind. Where's he launch it? Where does he launch it? Like, and where does he do it? Where does he try?
I think on the uphill hairpin.
Yeah. McAdam's just got to keep it through the S's. He's just got to keep it steady through the S's and see if can't give Hamilton the run up into the hairpin. He's got to defend it for sure.
Vintner just had a big moment, sent him from P4 to P5. So unfortunately, the charge there for Vintner is over. So this is all on Hamilton now to make it. And sorry to interrupt there, Fluke. You're just seeing that on the timing board.
Oh, good. What a time to lose it. That'll promote Tafik up into P4, so that'll be a little quiet race for him. But we see here McAdams. It looks like he's got as they go hard under the brakes into the crocodiles. As both cars just swirling everywhere. There's a yellow flag up ahead. There's a car. You can't park there, mate. As they go through Crocodile and Cheetah for the last time, it looks like McAdams is going to hold it out. Does Liam make a move? He will keep it where it is, and we are going to go 1-2 across the line to finish off an hour here at Kyalami with an intense race for the win. McAdam holding out that victory by only 3 and a bit tenths of a second. So an awesome effort by those blokes. Weatherburn comes across in third. He'll be happy with that. And Tafik crosses the line in fourth. Unfortunate for Vinter. He was absolutely charging there on Weatherburn for a bit, but an unfortunate mistake on the last lap has cost him potentially a couple of positions. And the Dark Horse of Hill in the BMW comes across in sixth. And your boy Turcolini comes across the line even after basically being sent back into the midfield. He will come across the line in seventh. He'll be very happy with that. A little bit of what could have been, but and a great result nonetheless. Benjamin Higdon doing all sorts of tag slappers in eighth. David Barker in ninth with a 15-second penalty, so that'll probably swap up to Bishop. Palmer will come across the line in 11th, but he also has a penalty, so Squiles will probably be promoted. Palmer has stopped on. Has Palmer run out of fuel?
Oh no.
Oh no. What has happened? Why is he? He has.
Oh,
He has
no.
fuel with only a couple of corners to go. You absolutely hate to see it. Oh, after charging up through the. There he goes as he teleports to pits. That's super unfortunate. And it's Lucas Keys with a great recovery drive after starting basically last and copping a lot of damage early on in the race. Finishes in 14th with the fastest lap.
Yeah, definitely great job there.
What a race. Yeah, it was a very good race. So
Great race.
we had some battles there towards the end, had some fights. A bit sad for Vintner to kind of have a mistake that cost him dearly in that kind of battle that we was talking about. So, but all in all, I mean, he still retained P5. So, I mean, like he'll be kind of upset about it, but not, I guess, too upset.
Yeah, I mean, he had to push hard to go for it, right? I mean, ultimately there was 15 points to gain or 5 points to lose there if he just lost that one position. And so I know I would do the same. Absolutely send it to try to get that extra 15 or extra 10 if you deduct the 5 from it. But yeah, so bad luck, but better luck next time, really. I mean, there's the next race, so go out there with the same aggression and want for that position, and hopefully this time or that time you'll get paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. As we'll run through the classes, so McAdam, a valiant drive and staunch defence, takes out P1. Hamilton, the hard charger late, comes in P2, and Weatherburn rounds out our pro guys in P3. Jumping over to Silver, Thurkalini, after getting a bit of a bin, comes through in P1 for class. Squires in P2, Palmer in P3. Jumping to Pro-Am, we have Bishop in P1, Pascal Armstrong in P2, and Witchell in P3. And the Am lads, we have Foster in P1 and Nur Asan in P2. Driver of the day, lads. I've got a. Well, it's tough. I actually no. I give my driver
today. Yeah.
I give my driver of the day to Thurkalini. Getting binned and he started on the second row, and to come back to a top 7 finish, you got to respect it.
Yep, absolutely. He's my driver of the day as well. Great qualifying effort, and it's not about how you take the hits, it's about how you get back up. So for him to drive that solid race and end back up at a really, really good position, takes the cake for me today as well.
Definitely. I will have to go with McAdam here, just because sustain 60 minutes in the rain at Kyalami under some pretty immense pressure from Hamilton at some stages. Although the gap did kind of go out to that 2-3 second mark. I mean, 3 seconds is nothing in the rain. Anything can happen. Those big slides cost you a whole bunch. So he was effectively under pressure the whole time. So really well done to continue that defense and not slip up once. Well deserved one. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that rounds out the round 4 for the Simrigs Sprint Series for OOR for Split Green. Joined in the box by Jamwise Holmes and Fluky. Thanks for joining me, boys. Big shout out to Glenn, who does all the streaming, mega job. To all the admins, the stewards, everyone keeps the community running, Thanks to everyone who watched, and definitely join us next week for what's the track next week? Oh,
Imola, isn't it?
Imola. Oh,
Ooh,
good track.
It's not
nice.
next week. I think we've got a little bit of a break for the for Nords 12 hour.
No, it's 12
And then we'll be back in a couple of weeks with a super sprint round at Imola.
It only goes up from here, coming from this track. It's only up from here, back to Imola, back to a good track.
Cut
that
this
note,
bit out, Glenn. Cut this one out.
On that note, thanks for joining us. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah.
See you later.